All right. Little pregame show here.
What the hell is that?
This is like a little pregame music. Well, there's no music outside during mini camps and all that stuff, so I'm just saying it works for the Buccaneers, right? To get hype for practice.
Why is Rascal Flatts on your iTunes? Does that mean that you downloaded Rascal Flatts?
Yeah. Don't hate on Rascal Flatts, man.
Oh, I will.
Don't. Hello, Buccaneer fans. Good morning. Scott Reynolds here alongside Mark Cook from PewterReport.com. A little dark in here. We're missing a couple of fluorescent lights.
That's good, though.
Is it? It casts some shadows, makes us look even more tired than we are.
Well, we are tired.
We are, yes. What time did you get to bed last night, Cookie?
Not too bad. It was before 3.
Oh, okay, that's good because
I know you were
4.
Up, yeah, I saw you were up later.
2 stories last night.
I saw when you tweeted the stories out, and I subtracted the time. I was like, damn, yeah, he was up late.
How do you subtract time? That's
You're so not good at that.
I know. I'm like, you got that over me, man. I'm telling you, that's
like,
really good.
If I woke up this morning like at 8:15, and then I saw that you had posted something 4 hours ago, so that I knew that you had posted it at 4 o'clock. Hey, 4:15.
Nice shirt today, Mark. You're wearing my shirt, which is good.
Actually, we switched shirts. We have each other's scents. We didn't wash them.
No, I washed mine for sure.
I didn't.
Yeah. So welcome to the day 3 show for the PewterReport.com draft video cast live from One Buccaneer Place.
Did you shower this morning?
I did. I shower every day.
You are a morning showerer.
Of course. Yeah.
Remember when you were a kid, you showered at night, you had to take a bath at night? Did you take, you didn't, no one did.
I took some baths, but then I discovered the shower and it was a game changer. So.
Really?
Yeah.
I still haven't discovered the shower. I still like a good bath.
I like baths.
I literally bought some bubble bath the other day.
I just don't have
lilac and chamomile.
So we've got a couple stories up for you on PewterReport.com. First of all, let's take care of some business. Edmondson Electric and Security is the draft coverage sponsor for PewterReport.com. I don't like these shadows, but there's not much we can do about it.
Wait, where do you see a shadow at?
Like right here on this side of my face. It's like the sun is here,
it's
but we're not
covering
outside.
Your Bell's palsy. You're fine.
Making fun of my Bell's palsy.
You're the one that has it.
I do have Bell's palsy, yeah. But I got on top of it before the whole face paralysis thing happened, so it's good. Anyways, so Bell's palsy survivors out there unite. So several things to talk about, but first let's talk about Edmondson Electric and Security. The official smart home and security company of PewterReport.com for the past 40 years. Edmondson Electric has proudly served Central Florida with electric services and is now proud to add state-of-the-art smart home technology and security systems to its roster. Whether it's surveillance cameras for your home, protect your loved ones, or home theater systems for your man cave, or smart lighting, Edmondson Electric and Security is automating your dream home. So click on the banners on PewterReport.com that you see to learn about controlling and monitoring and securing your home. Tomorrow starts now. From home automation controls to structured wiring and surveillance systems, Edmondson Electric and Security has the team to keep your home current. Call 813-910-3403 for more information or visit edmonsonelectric.com and tell them PewterReport.com sent you. Control, monitor, secure with Edmondson Electric and Security.
I'm going to call them, and that's going to save me some money, Scott, because now I'm going to be able to let those ninjas that I've hired to protect my home that hang out in trees at night with Chinese stars, I'll be able to let them go. They're quite costly. I'm sure Edmondson can definitely do it a lot cheaper for me.
Yeah.
I've already got rid of the pit bulls.
Let's see. So couple stories up on PewterReport.com.
Throwing stars.
Some analysis on why the Buccaneers went so heavy at the defensive back position, cornerback and safety, because they drafted 2 corners and safety last year, and they drafted 2 corners and safety this year, and kind of break that down for you. And not really endorsing the move or condoning it, but kind of explaining it. And this might be partly my fault because I did note how Jason Licht flooded the defensive line position last year with players. For example, when I say players, what are we talking about? Well, they traded for Jason Pierre-Paul. They signed Vinny Curry. They signed Bo Allen and Mitch Ryan. They drafted Vita Vea. And then they came back and they grabbed Carl Nassib again. And what did that do? By flooding the position, the defensive line, and they went from 20 sacks in 2017 to 38 sacks, almost doubled their sack total in 1 year. So having said that, what does this do? Well, it does a couple things. And let me ask you this. Heading into the draft, like just taking all the emotion out of it, because I know a lot of fans are ticked off that they didn't draft any defensive linemen. But heading into this draft, looking at it objectively, where was the weakness on this team? Was it the defensive line, or let's just say the front seven, because there are 3-4 now.
Secondary.
It was the secondary. It really was. And yes, we have pointed out that Jason Pierre-Paul is 30. We have pointed out that Carl Nassib and Shaq Barrett are on 1-year deals. They'll address those things, and I think you might see a defensive lineman taken here on day 3. But it's not like they have to like scramble to find defensive line help this year or front seven help, because you're considering Barrett and JPP and Nassib outside linebackers. So are you doing the Chris Sims button up?
They told me one more button.
Okay. So yes, no more
Scott
corners
has
today.
no buttons. I've got all 3.
I've got one button. I've got the hidden button right there.
You love to go with the
I don't
collar.
like the whole like choked feeling. Like that right there is I'm almost panicking because you have that.
I'm gonna flip the collar in and go with the Tiger Woods mock turtleneck.
Okay, yeah. So that's the reasoning behind it. Is it an indictment on some of the players last year? Yes. MJ Stewart is really a backup player, and I think Jordan Whitehead is more like a Keith Tandy type player. Remember, Jordan Whitehead was a 4th-round pick. He only started because Chris Conte got hurt and Justin Evans ended up getting hurt as well. So it was not ideal for them to have to start Jordan Whitehead. Now, when he was on the field, he was an average player. And I think that the team recognized that. If anything, last year kind of forced MJ Stewart and Carlton Davis and Jordan Whitehead onto the field so they could really get an evaluation of these guys. And when you're drafting guys on day 3, rounds 4, 5, 6, and 7, everybody wants to find a star. Everybody wants, Tom Brady and all that. But and the reality of it is you're building depth. And what Jason Licht had to do last year was re-sign Javian Elliott, find Devontae Harris on the street, Andrew Adams, Josh Shaw, because of all the rash of injuries. You got to remember, Justin Evans and Chris Conte were the starting safeties, and they were quickly out of the lineup, certainly Conte. Vernon Hargraves was gone in, the third quarter of the first game of the season. And all of a sudden, you're having to play Ryan Smith, and you don't want to. So they needed better players. And if all of a sudden Jordan Whitehead is now the 3rd or 4th safety, or MJ Stewart's the 3rd or 4th safety on this team, yeah, I understand maybe that's not the best value from the year before. But what that does mean is someone like Jamel Dean or Mike Edwards is better. And I think Edwards is a hell of a player. The other thing is Edwards is a playmaker. Sean Bunting is a playmaker. That's one of the things that I had some criticism about in last year's draft class. MJ Stewart didn't have a single interception his last 2 years. I think Carlton Davis maybe had 3 picks. So the draft class from last year is put on notice. Jordan Whitehead, if you want to contribute and get on the field or even make the team, same with you, MJ Stewart, you better make some plays. And same thing with Carlton Davis. You want to start? You're penciled in as a starter right now. Bruce Arians said that there's no starters. You want to stay in the starting lineup, you're going to have to get some interceptions. So Jason Licht flooded this position, just like he flooded the defensive line, because this was a weakness. And there was a run on corners, and they went ahead and grabbed some. And they can get by this year with what they had last year at the edge rushing positions. And you got Barrett in a contract year. You got Nassib in a contract year. One of those guys might end up re-signing, especially if they have a big year, or the Bucs let those guys go and they get compensatory draft picks in 2020. So we'll have to see how it plays out. But and you got to remember too, Devin White's a blitzer. You're going to see Levante David get involved in blitzing a lot more. Kevin Minter can get to the quarterback. So the linebacking core, and when I say linebacking, not just the edge guys, we're talking about the inside linebackers. They're going to be involved in the pass rush game as well. So
well, and as I texted you last night too, the more you think about it, the more you realize that Todd Bowles and Bruce Arians and Kevin Ross went to Jason Light and said, "We can't win with these guys that we have now." Because the bottom line is we can get by maybe at some of these other positions, but we can't make chicken salad out of chicken. You know what? Yep. And that had to be tough for Jason Light because again, he drafted these guys that, including Vernon Hargreaves, and again. I think Bruce Arians really does like Vernon Hargreaves. He said it in Arizona, but I don't know that you can count on the guy. I don't think that Bruce is thinking you can count on the guy.
Yeah, well, his track record says you can't with his injuries. So to me, I'm a big believer in competition and letting the best players play. And the one you can like Jason Light or love him or hate him, but the one thing I respect about him is he is not afraid to bail on a mistake. And trust me, I've done this for 24 years. I've seen Rich McKay hang on to Eric Curry for dear life for 5 friggin' years when it was clear the day Warren Sapp got in the building in 1995 and said, this guy sucks. And yet here, I think he played until 97, right? But Rich McKay's ego didn't want to let go of that pick. Mark Dominic held on to some guys. You mentioned Myron Lewis, 3rd-round pick out of Vanderbilt, was simply just not a player. Bruce Allen did the same thing with a lot of their draft picks with John. Jason is more cutthroat, even to his own detriment because it hurts his draft record. We saw that with Roberto Aguayo. I mean, it would have been such an ego move to sit there and say, well, it was a rookie year, high expectations. We're going to give him another year. No, he wasn't good enough. He's gone.
Well, they gave him the start of the year, and he got beat out. And, And
but
again,
they also added veteran competition.
They could have. They
didn't make him the anointed one.
And they could have. They could have after they cut him, brought him back, put him on the practice squad, hung on to him a little bit there. But once they decided he wasn't the guy, they just cut ties. So we'll see. It's I understand the frustration of Buccaneer fans watching yesterday's events transpire. I was frustrated as well because I was under the impression going into Friday that they were with Carlton and Vernon,
right?
And then trying to find a nickel corner. I didn't see any of these 3 guys particularly being nickel guys, but Jason said it last night.
Yeah, Sean Bunting can play inside, and also you can use Mike Edwards as a nickel as well. All right, so the PewterCat says the secondary was the biggest problem. So why isn't the media holding Light accountable for his secondary picks? No player in the back end has had anything better than an okay year. Honest question. That's legit.
Well, here's the deal though. What he drafted these guys for, you have to be honest. Let's be honest, was for a Mike Smith defense, not a Todd Bowles defense.
Well, I disagree. I think that you look at Vernon Hargreaves and Carlton Davis, they're really press man corners, and they really weren't good scheme fits for what Mike Smith wanted to do, the way they were played. So I think you're going to see some of these players, maybe like Carlton Davis, have a little bit of a rebirth, and Vernon Hargreaves. That's the expectation. We'll see how it pans out. This is all talk right now. The proverbial proof will be in the pudding come training camp, preseason, and the season. So is it holding them accountable? Keep in mind too, day 3 guys, 4th-round picks, like Ryan Smith, you don't draft typically, you don't have starters come out of the 4th round.
You hope.
You hope that Quan Alexander.
Exactly.
But historically, you can look around the league and most teams' 4th-round draft picks aren't starters. There are some. I think Darius Leonard was a 3rd or 4th-round pick for the Colts and was a Pro Bowler. So we'll see how it goes. The other thing too is the draft as itself. We talked about this late last night. The draft as itself is a crapshoot. It's a 50% proposition. So if you start off with 7 draft picks,
3.5,
yes,
make your team.
Yeah, 3 or 4 will make your team.
No, 3.5. You said 50%.
Yes, but you can't cut a player in half and then expect him to really contribute to your team.
Could be better than some of the guys currently.
That could be.
No, then we're going to say that half player is a practice squad guy. How about that?
That's
Three
true.
make it. Three
Because they're
don't
making
make it.
half the money of your
Right.
roster players. So if you look at that, there's a reason why Bill Belichick has 12 draft picks this year, is because he knows the odds. He knows the law of averages when it comes to the draft is 50%. So he knows with 12 draft picks, 6 are going to hit. And out of those 6, you're lucky to have 3 starters and 3 reserves. And that's why the Patriots continue to stockpile picks, because that's where if you're a Bill Belichick, a Howie Roseman, a Les Snead, doesn't matter who you are as a general manager, that's the law of averages. And so we're just explaining that. Who is Shaq Barrett? Shaq Barrett is an outside linebacker.
Come on, Joe. I know you're in West Des Moines, Iowa, and you don't get news very often. It comes via the Pony Express or Western Union, but
yeah,
Shaq Barrett was one of their.
If McCoy is gone and JPP is 30, we have a weakness on the line. Bucks cannot just ignore it. Okay. At the same time, though, Carl Nassib was added right after training camp. So whoever's
they're not ignoring. Look, it's you got to pick your poison. And they determined the secondary was weaker than the defensive line. Therefore,
right.
They addressed it this year. And I would suspect if half these guys pan out this year, then next year, then they would probably target the defensive line.
Right.
Just depending on how they do.
Yeah.
You know, and targeting could be re-signing a guy or finding a guy in free agency.
That's right.
So, you know, I see what you're saying, because last night that was my thing. It's like, how can you ignore the fact that you've got Barrett and Nassib on 1-year deals, and JPP is getting up there and you know, is going to get banged up from time to time. And let's not forget, you're losing Gerald McCoy,
mm-hmm.
your best defensive lineman. I mean, in this defense,
right?
If he was still on the roster,
yep.
We it is funny how we're acting like Gerald McCoy is a horrible player. The fact is, if he's still on this roster, of your 3 down
mm-hmm.
linemen, he's your best one.
Yeah.
Until, I mean, Vita Vea is certainly closing
right.
in on that. But you can't. I mean, who else? Let's talk about the depth on that, Scott. I mean,
mm-hmm.
pull up the roster. Pull up the Bucs roster right now. And let's just scan down defensive tackles and defensive ends.
All right. So the defensive tackles right now on the roster: Gerald McCoy, Vita Vea, and you've got Bo Allen as a reserve nose tackle, because Vita Vea can play the 3 technique and also the nose.
Jeremiah Ledbetter.
Yeah, Jeremiah Ledbetter.
Raheem Nunez Roaches.
Yep, otherwise known as Nacho.
Nick Thurman.
Stevie Tui Kolovatu. He's in the running for the backup nose tackle job as well. And then you got Will Golston as a 5 technique defensive end. Some of these players that are listed at defensive end will actually be they're actually going to be outside linebackers, like Damone Harris and Farrington Huguing. I don't even know how to pronounce his name.
They don't even have a photo for him.
But keep in mind, when they go to nickel pass rush, you're going to see JPP kick inside the defensive tackle like he has. And if Gerald's here, then it's Gerald and JPP. If Gerald's not here, it's probably Vita Vea and JPP. And then your edge rushers could be Carl Nassib and Shaq Barrett, or Carl Nassib and Noah Spence, or somebody they end up getting here on day 3. So we'll have to see. If Davis and VH3 are going to have bounce back years, then why are the Bucs drafting cornerbacks? Because it's not a given.
Yeah, they don't trust that they're going to.
It's not a given. You can't sit there and automatically say that Carlton Davis is going to be a player. Carlton Davis might not be anything more than
what we saw last year.
Yeah, than like a poor man's Brian Kelly. He that might be his spot. So again, you can't sit there and say, well, you know, we've signed Bo Allen and signed Mitch Unrein as defensive tackles.
Yeah, we're good
if you're the Buccaneers, we're done. Because what happened last year? Mitch Unrein didn't play it down because of the concussion, and Bo Allen didn't really have an impact outside of on rundowns where he occupied double teams. That's why they took Vita Vea, and it's a good thing Jason Light did sit there and say, well, we signed Vinny Curry and we traded for JPP, so we're done. No, they went out and got Carl Nassib. What happened? Vinny Curry got hurt early, didn't have a good year, and Carl Nassib, the last defensive piece of the puzzle he added, was the guy that wowed everybody and had 6.5 sacks and had a career year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why. Let's see. There was a comment here I wanted to get to. Scrolling here. What happened to Mark's pewter polo? Did Light pick your clothes today? All right.
I ended up
There
with a
was-
lot of food on it from
Yeah,
last night.
you did. Yeah.
It was messy.
So there was some discussion yesterday about my shirt, and Mark said it was black.
It was black.
I think it was gray, and you can see here. I took a picture. That's the black shirt, and this is like with lighting. That's the black shirt. That's the shirt I wore last night. That is black and that's gray.
Those are exact same colors.
No, they're not.
They really are.
No.
There's no difference. Scott Reynolds is literally colorblind.
No.
Scott Testaverde.
Lighting tricks.
Scott
But
Testaverde
you
here.
can't see it there. You got to take my word for it. It's black, and that's black. Matt, back me up. Black and gray. This is a black shirt. That's a dark gray shirt.
That looks black to me.
I mean, you're the only one that sees it that way, Reynolds.
No, I disagree.
Yeah.
Also, too, there was some discussion about my hair. I've actually had comments on my hair the last 2 days, which
Can I
is
just touch it?
yeah, sure.
Ow.
Yeah, it's a little prickly.
Sharp.
Yeah.
Bleeding.
Yeah. So I just wanted to let people know my secret. G'day, mate. Aussie.
My girlfriend
Instant phrase.
in 1988 used that exact same product, Scott.
Yep. $3.98 at Walmart. This stuff works. Like it gets
I
this.
do like how it smells. It smells kind of purpley,
it,
like the
it
bottle.
does. Yeah, and it's a great color. It's purple. So
Oh, no, it doesn't. It smells like alcohol.
it's hairspray. You're not supposed to drink it or
Maybe
eat
I
it.
should wear some on my chest. Stings.
I don't know if it's for that kind of hair,
Oh,
for chest hair. I think it's
wasn't
like
sure.
for hair up here. So
I got the back comb over. Do you want to see?
nope.
No?
So I'll be tweeting out a picture of this today. I'd love for Aussie to hook me up with an endorsement deal. Happy to do it, mate.
Love Vienna.
Does that instant freeze go with Axe body spray? I'm not an Axe guy.
No,
Not an Axe guy.
we just go all natural. Sweat
See.
like a man.
Ryan Smith is done in Tampa. No, he's not done in Tampa. I think he has a chance to be the last guy on the roster this year as a special teamer. He's got value there. They just don't want him on the field on defense, apparently. All right, so we're getting close to some action here, folks. Day 3 starts. And
Computer cast. I agree with Scott.
unlike last night, I came prepared today. Some Red Bull. Also looking for a Red Bull endorsement.
I'm looking forward.
Coca-Cola to send me like 8 cases.
They're not going to send you anything. Don't put it in front of the screen. They don't like you. Coca-Cola. Is that Coca-Cola makes that?
Yeah, I found that out yesterday.
You guys and all your energy drinks, your hearts are
All
going to
right, so
explode.
who are we looking at here in the rounds 4, 5, 6, and 7 on day 3? We've got a story up on pewterreport.com. I almost called you last night at 3:45 to have you proof it, so
I
didn't. 'Cause I thought about you.
I had my ringer off. I was anticipating that.
Yep.
How bad was it? How many mistakes were there in it?
I have no idea. I just
You still haven't proved. You didn't go back up this morning and read over it again.
no. I can't read right
You're
now.
trusting yourself at 3:45.
I could barely drive here. My eyes are so
Yeah,
shot.
I'm with
So,
you.
Help out Joe. I think he asked about 5 tech yesterday. Isn't that the guy that you said's been a long time reader?
Who?
Joe Fulford.
Yes.
I remember
Animal.
asking about what a 5 tech was yesterday, and he just asked about it again.
Okay, 5 tech. A 5 tech is the strong side defensive end. Think Will Golston. That's a classic 5 tech defensive end in his 3-4 scheme. May even play a 6 tech, which is outside, but really it is playing outside of the right tackle. If you're the left end, you're playing outside of the right tackle's shoulder, in between the tackle and the tight end. That gap, that C gap. That's what you're doing. Your job is to be big, strong, tough, take on the double team as the team tries to run. A lot of teams are right-handed. They try to run behind the tight end on the strong side, which is typically the right side. So that's why you need a bigger body like that. That's why Vinny Curry at 6'2", 270 is not an ideal guy to play defensive end in this scheme. That's why Will Golston at 6'5", 6'6", 280, 285 is a bigger body type. The Bucks just would like to get a little bit more pass rush there because Will just
Think of
hasn't
it
shown
like
he
this,
can do
Joe.
that.
If you're head up on the center, you're playing the 1, right? That's your nose tackle. If you're playing
Actually,
where
that's 0.
oh, well,
That's a
okay,
pick.
0.
If you shade over, that's a 1, right?
Yeah, and that's the A gap between
Right.
center and guard.
And then Gerald McCoy was the 3 technique.
That's the
We
B
know
gap.
he was, outside shade of the guard. And then your defensive end, the 5 technique, is outside shade of the tackle.
Hopefully that gets it. Drew Samia, yeah. So we've done pretty well on our Bucks best bets so far. We've nailed 2, Devin White and Jamel Dean, and both of those guys were in our final mock too.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like 2 for 2 for 2
Yeah.
in that instance. And have a chance to get some more today. I've got a list here of our remaining Bucks best bets that we
See what
have
the food
a shot at.
What it is.
Yeah, go see what the food is. Let's see.
Matt, how soon are the Bucks picking when we get back on board?
Very soon. They're fifth,
Yeah.
fifth
Okay,
pick
fifth,
in the
okay.
4th round. So here are the Bucks best bets remaining. Defensive end John Kaminsky from Charleston. That is a perfect 5 tech that we were just talking about. Defensive tackle Byron Coward. He could also play the 5 tech defensive end spot. He's from Maryland. Or he could play a 3 technique defensive tackle. Running back Tony Pollard from Memphis, one of my favorite players in the draft. He is a kick returner extraordinaire, 7 returns for touchdowns, good receiver.
So bags of cookies and 2 empty containers. So
Okay, so what food? Probably
heat is on.
12:30. The heat is on?
the
Okay.
heat is on,
All right,
so
well,
it's coming
it's
soon.
coming soon.
I want you to listen as they wheel the cart. They're going to come right
Yeah.
through here. As soon as they do, you open it up.
Yeah.
And you see what it
I
is.
just
Right.
take the food straight.
No.
Well,
Bring it right
if
in
it's
here.
not good, then don't take it. But if it's good, bring it in here. Defensive back, Iman Campbell. I think they're done at the defensive back positions. They should be at this point. Foster Moreau and our wild card pick, quarterback Tyree Jackson.
Mhm.
Look for the Bucks to trade down either in the 4th or the 5th. I think they want to get an extra player. So there are some running backs too that they like on day 3. Bruce Anderson from North Dakota State might be their last pick, might be a 7th rounder. He's a local Tampa kid. Let's consult the list, shall we? Running back.
Where did our Penn State guy go?
Miles Sanders.
Miles Sanders.
He went
no,
early.
no, the kid from Tampa that
Amani
we've been
Amani,
talking about.
He's still available.
He's still available.
Wow.
Yeah, he
he's
hasn't gone yet.
he's not a good athlete. He's just not. So Tony Pollard, Darwin Thompson from Utah State is another guy to keep an eye on. Trevion Williams from Texas A&M. These are some smaller running backs, but they're very good catching the ball out of the backfield. Bruce Anderson from North Dakota State. And I wouldn't be shocked if they take a receiver. Still have some on the board. Hakeem Butler, Cody Thompson from Toledo, Gary Jennings from West Virginia. A guy I like is Jazz Ferguson, who is Jalen Ferguson's brother, who went to Northwestern State.
Is
think
he
he
also
started-
non-athletic?
No, he's very athletic. He's like Mike Evans 2.0, but not as polished. So those are some receivers we talked about. They might take a guard. I still think there's a chance they take a tackle. Oli Udo from Elon College is somebody we have targeted. We've had him in our mock drafts before. He should not be a surprise to you. And he's on the picture of the story. So that means the Bucks are interested in him. He's from Elon College. Wisconsin's David Edwards and Ohio State's Isaiah Prince are a couple of guys to keep an eye on. Also, some other fits at defensive end, Isaiah Buggs, who actually led the Crimson Tide in sacks last year. I think he had 9.5. He did. He actually had more than Quinnen Williams. Isaiah Buggs could be a day 3 defensive end. He's a big guy. He could play 3 tech or defensive end. He's a perfect fit for what Todd Bowles wants to do. Jonathan Ledbetter from Georgia is another player. It would be an ideal fit at the 5 technique defensive tackle spot. Another guy to keep an eye on, aside from Byron Cowart, that could play 3 tech, Arizona defensive tackle P.J. Johnson. So keep an eye on those guys.
Like Benny Snell out of Kentucky. Be a bad guy.
I think he's a
Day
little
3.
slow. Yeah, I like him, but I loved him in college. I don't know if he's going to translate to the NFL. PR is more, this is about what's likely to happen versus let's fantasize about my personal dream. Yeah, it is. That's right. We trust me, there are some players we have as Bucks best bets every year that I'm not a personal fan of. And then it stings for me when I see a player I love, like Darrell Henderson, when the Bucks trade out of that pick with the Rams and then the Rams take him there. That stings. And trust me, I've sent some text messages upstairs to let them know that this might be Kareem Hunt 2.0 that they're screwing up on here. So no, we're not shills for the organization. We sometimes they like a player and we like a player, and it aligns, and we're all about it. And Devin White, let me tell you, Devin White is that guy. How many times in January am I sending you the highlight videos of this guy saying, Mark, you got to check this guy out. Like this guy he is a perfect fit for what Todd Bowles wants to do. We just identified him in January, got some good intel, and that's why we had him locked in with the 5th overall pick in January when other people were saying Josh Jacobs and Grady Williams and Jonah Williams for the Bucs. I mean, we had some good feelings about him. And speaking of good feelings, I know that we talked about this yesterday when Devin White was in the building. But again, recap how sensational this guy is. I mean, he has a presence that you can feel. We talked about it.
Yeah.
Right. I said yesterday, he reminds me of Derek Brooks in terms of the class, professionalism, the want to, the will, the desire, the leadership, combined with Warren Sapp's swagger and a little bit of cockiness and just pure confidence and also Sapp's will to win. So when I look at Devin White, and I'm not kidding, I've not been as excited about a first-round draft pick by the Buccaneers since 1995, my first year on the job. I think this guy is a surefire Pro Bowler sooner rather than later, and I really believe that if he stays healthy and the Bucs can win a Super Bowl on his watch, I think that he has the opportunity, the chance, the ability to end up in that Patrick Willis, Ray Lewis category when it's all said and done. What do you think? What are your thoughts? You were there.
No, I agree. I mean, I'm not going to even put him in the same category as you said. I see what you're saying, maybe one day, but no, I came away thoroughly impressed. And again, this press conference was fine, but when you get to sit down and talk to him one-on-one, look him in the eye and just see the confidence that the guy has. And again, it wasn't all, hey, look at me, look at me. He was just speaking matter-of-factly. Yeah. Now, again, look, maybe it's a little overconfidence, and that's okay too. You'd rather him be overconfident than underconfident, as we saw with a guy like Ronald Jones last year, who didn't have any confidence running the football at all. So, but the thing about him is like we talked about last night, when he does get that welcome to the NFL moment, he's not going to back down from it.
Right.
You know what I mean? When he gets stiff-armed and when he misses a tackle or gets juked out of his shoes, he's not going to be like, "Oh, I'm terrible now." It's going to motivate him to be better. Yeah. It's just a unique personality and character. Unique, the way we talk about Jameis Winston and his leadership and his love for the game, and those things, and take all of the off the field stuff and your personal thoughts on turnovers and stuff. Nobody's going to argue his passion for the game.
Totally agree.
And that's the same way with Devin White, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's spot on analysis. Yeah. That's why you're here.
Every once in a while, blind squirrel finds the acorn.
Yep.
Speaking of that, I've got the squirrels in my place eating out of my hand now.
Like in Mobile.
Yep. And I literally have a video. I'll play it later.
You're the squirrel whisperer.
I am.
I love it.
You got a picture of that.
I never really liked squirrels a whole lot when I was younger, but my mother loved them, and then she passed away. Yeah, well, I've kind of taken over.
The funny thing is, as we're walking back from the store in the Mobile, like little town square, I remember we're walking out and said, "Who's the homeless guy feeding the squirrels?" And as I got closer, it was Mark. I was like, "Wow, okay."
Photo. Here we go. We got the Mark and the squirrel.
Yeah, let's see that. Let's see with the lighting here if we can get that. Yep, there's proof right there. Brother Nature ain't got nothing on you, Cookie.
Wow.
Right there, feeding squirrels. I'm sorry that I thought you were homeless. As I got closer, I recognized it was actually you.
No.
Excuse me.
There we go.
See, he took it right out of my hand.
Oh yeah.
Squirrel whisperer.
He doesn't have rabies.
He didn't bite me.
Well, he might next time.
No, not if he wants to. Not if he doesn't want to end up in the frying pan. Remember, I told him I'm from Plant City. I've eaten a lot of squirrel.
Yeah.
I mean, one time we were squirrel hunting with my dad, and
he might look at your finger and think it's a peanut and take a nibble.
Not these babies. There's no peanuts there.
You want to see something funny? Watch this.
Oh, stop. Oh, don't touch me with that creepy finger. Get it away from me. Show them how you do, like, when you tape video. Like, look, we're taping video at a press conference. We're like this, right? Perfectly
Okay.
normal. Now, show them how you do it, Scott. I sit behind it, and it creeps me out so bad. Oh, that finger. Oh. Oh.
See that? It's not quite Booger McFarland-esque, but yeah. I blocked a punt in high school. It was great. It was like Moses parting the Red Sea. I lined up right
I
over,
totally forgot
right
to
over the
block you.
long snapper. The long snapper steps to his right, and the guard just completely went the other way. And I'm not very fast, but man, there was nobody laid a finger on me. Get it? Finger.
Yeah.
And
stop.
I went straight ahead, and the punter's right there, and his eyes are getting big. He saw me coming. It's against Shawnee Mission West. See, Shawnee Mission West, bringing the podcast and Shooting Star podcast back in. I played for the Shawnee Mission South Raiders and went right up the middle and caught the tip of the ball, like the very end of the ball. That's like the hardest part of the ball, right there on my finger, just like this. And it took this finger and literally like bent it sideways. And you filming this?
Just a picture.
Okay, yeah. And blocked the punt. I had 2 highlights in my 2 years of playing for the Raiders as a freshman and a sophomore. I got 1 sack and I blocked 1 punt. And I was so like jacked up, and I came straight on like this. So it was like one of those boom, and we recovered. And I looked down at my finger, which was throbbing, and it was completely like crooked. And I went to the sideline. They didn't have these orthopedic specialists back then in the 80s. Did they cook? Hell no. So what'd they do? They grabbed a popsicle stick and some tape.
White tape.
Yep. And they wrapped it up.
Get back in there.
Yeah. Actually, what my coach did first, he's like, let me see that.
Yeah, you straighten it back.
Straighten it up because, of course, he's got the orthopedic background as a gym coach.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So I forgot which coach it was. It felt better when he did that because it was completely dislocated and out of socket, and put it right back in there. And but obviously, as you can tell, it never really healed the right way. So, yeah, that's my war story.
I mean, guess could be some advantages to that, but we won't get into that.
Yes, there are some advantages.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not cool.
Yeah.
Bengals traded with Arizona.
Hakeem Butler went to the Cardinals.
Bengals traded to Arizona spot at the top of the 4th round.
Did they? Because it says the Cardinals just selected
Yeah, that's
Hakeem
weird.
Butler.
I mean, Adam Schefter tweeted it.
Well, Schefter's not always right. Okay.
No, actually,
I
is.
think, well, a lot of time. Yeah.
This cheesy day 4 draft stuff's already begun.
Who do you like better, Schefter or Ian Rappaport?
Ooh.
On a personal level.
Rappaport's a personal friend, so
Yeah.
Oh, really?
yeah.
I
Long-time
literally
Time.
had to drag these 2 yahoos out of the bar because they would not leave him alone. I was like,
Oh, yeah,
it's
that's
okay,
fine.
go up and say hi to him. 15 minutes later, they're sitting there still chatting. And Rappaport's just like nodding his head, and they were just
I mean,
telling
it
him
was a fun-
story
That
after
was
story.
because I walked up and said hi and introduced myself, and then the 3 of us hit it off. And
So you hit it off with
You shout out
Adam
Manish
Schefter.
Mehta, too.
Or no,
Jets
wait,
record.
he-
And Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin gave you a shout out.
Yeah, well, Mike Tomlin and I are like this.
Yeah.
Said,
We're
"You
actually
actually
like
Scott
that.
Webb." We said, "Oh, we do."
So afterwards, I apologized to Ian. I was like, sorry about my my yahoos. They get a little carried away. And he goes, you know what though? At least they didn't just stare at me. He says, I
Oh,
hate
my
that
God.
when people just walk up and stare. At least they came up and said hi. I was like, yeah. I said, but you don't have to keep talking.
See, Mike Johnson, he can feel me. I played offensive line in high school. My fingers are all kinds of crooked and mangled. Not quite as lumpy and as the fugly first digit though. And let's see.
I broke a finger in.
Pewtercast, Scott blocked a punt in high school? Really? Never heard that story before. Pod 4, episode 28, episode 86, episode 100, part 311.
Thank you.
Yeah. Listen, when you get 2 stories to tell out of 2 years,
Right.
like you recycle them.
I don't think I've told any of my football stories yet. I will. We'll
Okay.
get to those one
All
day.
right.
All my digits are good.
Atlas is struggling. Man, I just can't get hyped for us now. I feel heartbroken, and at this point, just whatever, man. It's gonna get better. Okay, it's gonna get better. The Bengals pick is in now.
Yeah,
Let's
they
see.
traded with San Francisco.
Okay. Oh, come on, Nick. Give Atlas a break. He's here. He's hanging in. Rally around your fellow Bucks fans.
Worst part of this crap on day 3 is all the silliness that they do.
Yeah.
Did you see the Arizona
God, yes,
Gunslinger?
Yeah.
Yes. Guess where the Buccaneers are making their pick from?
Clearwater.
Oh, Clearwater.
Yeah, on the beach,
Right.
some sandcastle festival. Just
Yeah.
give us the damn pick.
At least they don't have like a parrot flying it in from.
Yeah.
At least they don't have.
Yeah.
At least they don't
That's the
have
voice of
Travis
doom. Welcome,
doing it,
my
and
brother,
screwing up
from
Stevie
Missouri.
Tuivasa-Laka's name.
Chuck Berry. That's right. Pewtercast. Remember the Chuck Berry story? I've got some more stories, not as good as that one, but we have some other stories. We need to really get into some Schiano stories. It's been a couple years, like how Trump opened up some JFK files, right? Like I think it's time now. There's been enough time that's passed,
Declassify?
that we can declassify some Greg Schiano stories.
I'm all for it. It's not like he's in football. It's not like we're going to hurt his career.
Right, exactly. He's out now.
But who took him? Cincinnati.
Trade back again, please. Yeah, you could see the Bucks trade back here, unless of course, like their guys here. I would expect the Bucks to try to trade back in the 4th or the 5th round to get an extra pick because there's still several guys they like. Shanna Stories Mersa. Yeah. look at Ken Grant. Oh, that was a good story. We only had to wait a month for it. We kept getting we were doing that little bit.
The Chuck Berry.
Yeah,
thing,
it was kind of like the Matt Damon thing that Jimmy Kimmel used to do.
Or the DeAndre Cole on What's Up With That, the skit on
Yes.
Saturday Night Live with Lindsey Buckingham.
Yes.
Lindsey,
That's great.
we just didn't get to you again. I promise next week. I went through and watched all of those the other night. Megan had never seen them.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
She wants to download that song,
Yes.
and she loves the song so much.
Yeah, Keenan Thompson really could be.
You mean DeMar Dotson?
DeMar
It's not-
Dotson's
they-
little brother.
they've never been seen in the same room together.
DeMar Dotson.
And when you bring it up to
significantly taller.
DeMar, he goes, "That doesn't look anything like me."
He's like, "Who
I
that?
go,
Who that?"
Not only
Who
does
dat?
it not look like you do the same facial expression.
Yes.
Yeah. In fact, this year for What's Cooking, I'm going to get him on and give him like
Yeah.
the DeAndre Cole, Jerry Curl wig.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do a whole
Saints
What's Up With That.
on the
Saints
clock.
radio.
The pick is in.
Very trade happy around so far.
I like Matt's just random commentary.
Yeah.
Very trade happy round so far.
It's filibuster. We're streaming for like 6 hours.
Yeah.
It's got to fill the time.
No, actually, we're not. Today, the Bucks let us off the hook. We have the 7th round selection at the top of the 7th round, and then
That is
they're
true,
done.
yeah.
We may bail at 6.
Just read Twitter, log on to Twitter. We'll
Yeah.
tell you who they pick.
Maybe they'll move up. Packers are 7th and move up in the 6th. That'd be
Kimball
better.
still doesn't. Yeah, exactly. Atlas is gripping. If the Saints take CGJ, Jesus. Until we trade back and add a 7th round comp, please no. God, no. I've got an appointment on my couch later this afternoon for a nap.
I got an appointment with Jack Bauer. I'm driving to Tallahassee tomorrow.
Which season are you on?
8.
8? How many seasons were there?
There was 8, and then they did like the 12-hour thing after that.
yeah. Which was kind of cheap, right? Because it's like you're
It was
getting half.
really
of-
good, though. That one was
Yeah.
really good, but you're right. I will say this, going back and watching it again,
It's kind of like
there
day
are a
7
couple
or round 7.
seasons
They
where
kinda nailed
could,
it in.
it could have not been 24. It should have just been
Yeah.
16.
Yeah.
You know?
They jumped the shark a little bit. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
put him on the plane with the nuclear bomb. Oh, have you seen that one yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was early.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, no, there was one whole season that was during the writers' strike. So they had like replacement writers.
Mhm.
That season, I can't remember which one it was not good. Not very believable.
Why has CGJ slid so far? Sometimes, I'm just telling you, sometimes it's not players sliding. Sometimes it's they really weren't that good to begin with, and the media latched onto them and kind of,
You mean
Made
Gator
him-
fans claiming to be DBU?
Yeah.
And they've yet to have one drafted?
Yep.
I think it's clear that the Buccaneers are now DBU. They can make that claim.
Yes. It might be DBUPU,
Yeah.
but we'll see. See how it all pans out.
after they shot down Air Force One. Yeah, but it
Yeah.
really
Hold
bounced
on.
back in
Yeah,
season
get the
7.
Saints
Ken.
dog in because nothing says Saints like a dog.
Is Saint Bernard?
I guess so. Yeah,
I don't know. He doesn't have a barrel around his neck.
true. Remember the old cartoons? Like,
Bugs Bunny one.
yeah.
It was a coyote dressed up in the.
Yeah, I didn't get that, Taylor. I'm going to give you credit for that. I did not get the whole Saint Bernard
Saint
thing.
Leo.
Yeah.
Or not Saint Leo, the one up in
Yeah,
Gainesville.
Chauncey Gardner Johnson.
Holy crap.
And Atlas is gone. He and Joe Fulford are just gone.
They just checked out.
Yep.
They
Lost
just
their
Robin
mind.
Williams themselves.
Listen, I remember a couple years ago when the Saints took was it Mike Bell, the safety?
No, Von Bell.
Von Bell, yeah,
Yeah.
from Ohio State. And Buck fans were gripping then. I don't
Yeah.
think Von Bell has really done much. So
I don't even think he's still with the Saints, is he?
he might not be. So
Yeah, this is really a.
Ken Grant also showing his disdain and displeasure. I tell you what, Mike Edwards is a player. I'm
I'm gonna
happy.
say the Gators better though.
You think so?
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
I saw the Gator play a lot more because.
Because you have a secret soft spot for Gators football.
No,
Sure,
this is a
some
true
people-
story. I enjoy watching Florida lose more than I enjoy watching Florida State win. That's a true story.
Joe's still in. That's good.
Joe's in West Des Moines, Iowa. Of course he's still in. There's nothing else to do. Joe, do you ever go to the American Picker store? Is that near you?
Okay, so Von Bell's still doing something, but I didn't really know that. So let's put it this way: Von Bell is not really challenging for a Pro Bowl spot. I don't think.
He's no Justin Evans.
True. He's not Justin Evans.
Doesn't have a bad toe.
Doesn't have a bad toe that we know of.
Yeah.
Just felt compelled to grab my keys and put them over here.
That was odd. I just was wondering. I mean, I get those. I just something like that.
Jim
stuff.
Horan, best corner available. We'll see. Dab it. I get a feeling it's going to end up being a Bucks best bet right here. I'm going to call my shot. I don't know who it's going to be, but I think it's going to be one of the guys we have left.
Von Bell has 0 career interceptions in 3 years. Who was the other safety? His dad was the coach here under Lovey, and his son was a high draft pick, and Buck fans wanted him. Who was that?
Who?
Or he was a free agent. Who was the
Who?
Bucks safeties coach under Lovey Smith?
His son.
He played in the league. Okay,
His son.
but he had another
Nepotism.
one.
He was awful. He was an awful coach.
Who am I thinking of beside his son? He played in the league, and then his son was.
Oh,
a
yeah,
player.
yeah. That was Gil Bird, the
Yeah,
cornerbacks coach.
yeah. People wanted his son to come here.
Yeah.
What was his son's name? Phil Bird?
No, this is not tough on us, Atlas, because we got guys like you who are hanging in there with us on day 3. This is great. No, we appreciate it.
We basically have the same 9 guys that are hanging with us on day 3.
It hurts them a little bit. It's a Saturday, you know.
I will say
listen,
this. I walked outside today to feed my squirrel. Millicent is his name, by the way. I've named him.
What?
Millicent.
Millicent?
Mhm.
Millicent.
Mhm.
Why?
I don't know. It's like the name.
This game to you.
Just came to me. Just
Okay.
fit.
All right.
We don't know if the squirrel's a boy or a girl.
I was gonna say,
I'm not
Parks
checking
and
it.
Rec, there's
That's what I
Millicent,
said, Parks and
Gergen.
Rec fan.
Von,
anyway.
Peter Cass says Von Bell has 0 interceptions in 3 years. He can play cornerback for the Bucks. True. That's a good point.
My point is, I walked outside and it was like the nicest day in the last couple weeks. Cool, low humidity, beautiful sunshine. And I thought, I get to go to work.
Max
And
Crosby,
sit in a room with 4 men.
Eastern Michigan outside linebacker / defensive
3 of
end.
them smell like Axe body spray.
So Max Crosby, small school pass rusher. Okay.
Pick
Pick
us
us in
in.
for the Bucks. I'm grabbing photos, guys.
The Buccaneers select cornerback. Anyone from any school.
No, it has to be an SEC school.
Yeah.
They're 3 for 3 with the SEC.
Oh, they picked Brandon Marshall. And Kirk Cousins.
And then the other guy they got is from the MAC. It's going to be another Bucks best bet. We shall see.
Hurry up and pick. I'm hungry. It's got to
Yeah,
be
me
some
too.
food by now. Go look, Taylor.
Hold on, he's
Pick.
got
I
to
know.
he's got to work. first, man.
Kidding.
You guys take me so serious.
God, this Red Bull's looking really good right now. I'm starting to fade. Just got here. Pick is in.
Oh, can we please show them at the beat? Well, actually, that might be entertaining.
Yeah,
More
that's the
entertaining
thing.
than the
They're trying to like hook up the satellite link to the beach here to make the damn pick. Oh, look, it's kids outside in the park. Sunny Florida.
Hey guys, wave to the kids.
Yeah.
I think that's Tennessee.
Yeah, probably. Max Crosby for Raiders.
I wish you just put
I'm gonna say
one more
I'm gonna
X
say
in his
Ole
name. That would really like
or John Kaminsky or Byron Coward. Those three. That would be nice.
I'm
'Cause
gonna
then that would
say.
tie our record.
I'm gonna
for
say Jared
Bucks best
Stidham.
bets.
Max Crosby's a fun player.
There's Bucks fans. Look at that. Is in. Here's the war room. Let's take a live look and see what Jason Light's doing. No, there's no Jason. Where's Jason? He's gonna make the pick. Where is he?
He's on the beach.
He let Spytech do it. He's like, I'm getting beat up, dude. You got this.
Jason and Bruce are at the bar drinking some Crown Royal.
Happy hour.
John, you got this, man.
Oh boy, here
Here
we go.
All right.
Not even
Clearwater
in
Beach.
bikinis. Lame.
Yeah, it's a nice sunny day. Bucks
Should have got
select.
Travis to do this. Roll up in his wheelchair. Mispronounce the name.
I think those are famous.
Anthony Nelson. Ah,
Major
probably-
Anthony Nelson. Yes, from I Dream
All
of
right.
Jeannie.
I like John Kaminsky better, but oh well. He is a defensive end that will fit perfectly as a 5-tech in this 3-4 scheme. There's your defensive line. I think he's a little stiff, kind of a lumbering guy. I think he's a little bit like a kind of a poor man's Carl Nassib. He does have power. You're seeing speed to power if you're watching NFL Network there. That was one of his more athletic plays. He does have hustle. He's a blue collar guy in the vein of Carl Nassib. So there's Jason. There's Bruce. Got the pick.
Jason wearing the shorts.
Well, it's Florida, man.
I tried to wear shorts Thursday and you wouldn't let me.
I know. Look at Rob McCartney in jeans, man. All of a sudden, it's a casual Saturday
Yeah.
at $1. Okay, I'm
Friday
going
there are 3-piece suits.
So even though we did not have this as a Bucks best bet, I understand what they did and why they did it. It is
They listen to you, people.
the fan said defensive end. We shall give them a defensive end. He didn't really stand out at the Senior Bowl, I don't think.
Yeah,
You know,
I don't remember him at the Senior Bowl.
That's what
so
I'm saying. Yeah.
there's nothing like, ooh, that's bad, but
Right.
a lot of other people
Yep.
we were really high on. So.
Mhm.
I still can't believe Andy Isabella went where he went. That's crazy.
Why? Are you a GM?
No, he's just
Disagree.
so small. I mean, there were guys on the board, I think, that could give you. I mean, DK Metcalf was on the board.
Yeah,
I
but
think he can give you.
totally different guy.
I mean,
Totally different.
He's
receiver.
I mean, if you're looking for a speed guy, he gives you that top breaking speed.
Yeah, they wanted another
6
little,
extra inches
a
and
little
50
Junior
pounds.
Edelman type guy. A faster Adam Humphries. That's what I call him.
I mean, I like Isabella. I watched him torch USF this year. He played well.
Wasn't
at the
hard to
Senior Bowl.
do.
Yeah, it's true.
That collapse might have been right up there with a lightning collapse.
Was historic. First
Oh,
team
it
to ever
was.
start
Yeah.
7-0 and lose 6 straight.
Awful proud of you.
Good
Go
job.
Bulls.
Hey, it got him a new offensive coordinator, new offensive staff. I'm
What's Sean
so
King
ready
doing?
for it. Sean King's still the QB and running back coach.
Yeah.
National champion at Tulane, right?
I'm going to text Charles Davis while he's on the air and just be like, hey, I see you on TV.
Yeah.
People do that to us all the time.
Yeah.
I literally have people
Hey,
that
heard
text
you on the
me
radio.
like, my
During
phone
the
will
radio
ding
show.
during the interview.
Yeah.
I'm listening to you. I'm like, Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Appreciate
Thanks for
that.
distracting me, and making me lose my train of thought when my
Yeah.
phone beeped in my ear. There's y'all's boyfriend.
He's thinking about us, I think.
Ian Rappaport.
That poor guy.
I wonder how
I was
Taylor
like, I'm
and Matt-
sorry. I'm sorry. Just ignore those two. You all you had to do was say hi, Ian. You didn't have to
Yeah.
actually carry on. A
If you notice what I
conversation with him.
did, well, you weren't there, but in Indianapolis, when I saw Gary Vaynerchuk, Vayner
Wow, your
Sports,
hero.
Yeah.
Did you hug him?
no, but I got a selfie with him, and I was really hammered, so I made it really quick, like 60 seconds. Hey, Gary V, fan, like your videos online, reading 2 of your books right now, which is true. I am. And can we grab a selfie? He's like, yeah, sure. Boom. Nice to meet you. He asked me who I was, what I did. It was very cool.
Mhm.
Did not big time me at all. Very cool to meet Gary V. But but see, guys, I was in and out. I was like 60 seconds, got the pick.
Not these
got the
guys. They pull up
handshake.
a chair.
Right.
Rappaport's talking to Manesh and Tomlin, and these guys slide a chair
Nash
between the
didn't
two of them.
slide in until after we were talking to them.
He was probably trying to
He was
run
saying the word.
interference.
Yeah, we were talking
Yeah.
to Manish.
So-
we were just like
How long were you guys talking to Mike Tomlin?
They didn't talk to Mike very
Yeah,
long
okay,
at
a
all.
minute.
Mike
No,
and Jerry had a love affair going on. Jerry and Mike Tomlin. Were
Jerry
just-
Jones?
Yeah, they
Oh,
were
yeah.
slapping backs.
They're like
man.
drinking buddies.
Yeah. I didn't even hardly bug Mike, and I semi know him. These
I was
guys.
disappointed we didn't see Jerry Jones at the Senior Bowl this year. We usually have drinks with Jerry.
I did.
And
That's
Steven.
where we were.
But with
Huh.
rap,
No,
we
you're at
talked
the NFL owners
Mets
meeting.
baseball. We
I
talked
saw 'em
about
both.
My take. We
No.
talked about
At the Senior Bowl?
Yes,
Where
at
was
the
I?
Battle House. You were sleeping.
Oh,
you
that's
didn't go
right,
out
yeah.
one single night.
I did I?
No,
Yeah, I thought I
you
did.
didn't.
Oh, I didn't. You're right.
I took these yahoos. We Ubered.
I made up for it in Indy.
I couldn't get
Oh, no.
Matt to quit drinking. I had to drag him out of the bar.
No,
But
this is true.
that's where that is true. But that was the night that they were hanging out with what's his face, Jerry and Mike Tomlin were yucking it up for like 40 minutes.
I got some Jameis intel from rap.
I had
Talking
Jerry
Mets
on
baseball.
a phone call. I'd FaceTimed with Jerry with someone on from the owners meeting at the dinner that night. He's like, I was like, Jerry, can you say hi? He goes, absolutely.
Jerry is
this
the most
pretty-
accommodating
Who's
guy.
this pretty little girl I'm talking to over here?
Yeah.
I was like, easy, Jerry.
Yeah.
She's spoken for.
Yeah, Jerry is so accommodating. My good friend Rick Zoyce is a huge Cowboys fan, and I got Jerry to do that video for Rick. That was fantastic. And I wanted like a little 5-second shout out. Jerry's like quizzing me about this and does this video. It's fantastic. Maybe I'll play it on here. We got to fill some time on day 3 here.
You got the story up?
Waiting on the photo.
I'm working on it.
Chain of command. Chain of command.
Yeah.
Please put Major Anthony Nelson on there.
Adrian. It's up. It's in. Good. It's good to go.
All right. Photo up. Story's going up. I'm checking on the food.
Yeah. Run some intel for me on the food. Let me know what they have.
Yeah.
Because I'm starving.
No, I'm sure you'll look, come back, and I'll tell you.
Well, if it's
If it's fish, you're getting double.
great, I hate fish. I'm from Kansas, so if it isn't oink moo or cluck,
Mhm.
I don't touch it.
I wonder if that has anything to do with like shellfish allergy. Being from the Midwest, might not have eaten it much over the years.
Like as a baby, like I didn't get the immunity
Well,
built
I mean,
up
like
to.
maybe
the
generations of,
chemicals.
of non-fish eaters.
Oh, maybe, yeah. But I was originally from Virginia, so
Oh, so
which is a
Okay.
coastal state.
story up. I'm gonna finish up the details.
Cool. That's the one. You publishing?
Oh yeah, published. Now I'm just gonna go fill it in.
This is a good pick. If you're looking for a defensive lineman, they needed somebody to challenge Bo Golston. And this is a good solid pick, either him or John Kaminsky from Charleston. And I think too, you're looking at probably 2 guys. I think Kaminsky might be a little bit better of an athlete, but with Nelson, what you're getting is somebody who is more proven against higher level competition. And Kaminsky was at the Senior Bowl and really didn't show much there either, in terms of like he didn't really
Neither of them jumped off. the
stand
page
out like
yet.
a Colin Saunders did, right, from Northern. No, it wasn't Northern Illinois. Where was he from?
Kalen Saunders, wasn't he from what?
Western
Western-
Illinois. Yes, Western Illinois.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I think it was somewhere Illinois.
Yep.
Well, he'll surely do well in those pass blocking drills that the
Right.
Bucs are doing at minicamp.
All right, so just to show you how awesome Jerry Jones is, and I'm not saying that the Glazers aren't awesome. It's just I've not been able to get the Glazers to have a drink with me or cut a video for my friends. So this is Jerry Jones at the Senior Bowl from 2018. So not this past year, but the year before. Doing this for my friend Rick is always here. So listen to Jerry. This is Jerry unscripted. I just said this is for my friend Rick. He's a big Cowboys fan. So here it goes.
Hey, Rick, listen, we've got to do something about Scott. I kept him out of jail two different times tonight. You know him better than I do. I hope you're a high character guy. Really, Rick, good to meet you. Thanks for being here. Jerry Jones with the Cowboys. Nice to meet you.
Like that's 26 seconds of just Jerry doing Jerry. So I'll let you eat.
Yeah,
It looks
shoot
pretty
that
good.
over. Do by far the best one so
Okay,
far.
good. All right. So wolf that down so I can get on some food here.
Mm.
So yeah, that's Jerry Jones from my buddy Rick. Isn't that cool? That was pretty cool.
Oh man, a punter got drafted?
Yeah. That's what happens on day 3. That's where you're supposed to draft specialists.
I don't know if it's because I haven't eaten since last night about 8 o'clock or if it's really, really good.
No, that chicken's really good. I'm about to feast on that. So let's dive a little bit into Anthony Nelson. Really kind of came on as really in 2016 was his first year as a starter, 6 sacks, and then you could see the sack production build. 6, 7.5, 9.5 last year, 4 forced fumbles in his career, 7 passes defense. That's a statistic that actually Jason Light looks at when it comes to defensive linemen is, are you affecting the pass game? Sometimes you can affect it with a sack fumble. Sometimes you can affect it by getting your arm up and swatting a ball at the line of scrimmage on 3rd down.
Oh,
forcing
you're
a
not
punt.
saying he wasn't dropping back in coverage.
Correct. 1 fumble recovery. So really, and we've said this, the Buccaneers needed to get better at the defensive end position. And that in this 3-4 is the strong side defensive end position. The other end position is actually a 3 technique defensive tackle. So when you're looking at the Bucs defensive line, in the 3-4, you have Carl Nassib and Shaq Barrett as strong side outside linebackers. The player right next to them on the line of scrimmage will be Will Golston and Anthony Nelson in that role. Then you slide over, and at the linebacker level, you've got your middle linebacker, that's Devin White and Kevin Minter in that role. Then you go over one more spot, back to the line, that's your nose tackle, that is Vita Vea, that is Bo Allen, that's Stevie Tuikulabatu. Then you go over one more spot to the other inside linebacker off the ball, and that's going to be Levante David playing the Mo linebacker position. Then you go over one more spot. Now you're back on the line in the 3-4, and you're at the defensive tackle spot. That's a 3 technique defensive tackle. So that is Gerald McCoy, that is Vita Vea, that is Raheem Nunez Roches right now. That's otherwise known as Nacho around One Buck Place.
Nacho Libre.
And then the final spot is your other linebacker, your weak side linebacker. That is Jason Pierre-Paul. That is Noah Spence. So that's where it shakes out right now. Kendall Sheffield from the Ohio State Buckeyes going to the Atlanta Falcons. He's a fast dude. He's got some wheels.
He looks really young in that photo right there, though.
No, that's not him. That's a flag football player.
Oh.
But still fast, though.
Yeah, faster than
Yeah.
those.
Outside of Devin outside of Devin White and Sean Bunting, it's been pretty terrible. Again, like
Maybe
maybe we don't know.
we thought Kendall. We thought
Quan Alexander
yeah.
was an awful pick, and
Mhm.
he ended up being a pretty good pick for the Buccaneers in the 4th round. So that taught us a lesson for real. Like just because we've been doing this a long time does not mean we can't learn lessons. And so we shall see.
I mean, we thought MJ Stewart was a bad pick last year, and look how that turned out.
True.
Accurate.
Nelson is like full 4 tiers better of an athlete than Ferguson. Yeah, but the sack production wasn't there, and they're 2 different players too. Ferguson is more of an edge guy. Nelson is not really an edge guy. He is a guy that can hold up at the point of attack, set the edge at that spot.
What is he like? 297? How much is he weigh?
They haven't listed at 271, but he's actually bigger than that. I mean, it's like Will Golston. He's listed at like 270, and
Yeah.
he's never 270. Let's see where he weighed in at the combine. Because they list Carl Nassib at 270 or 275, and Nassib, there's no way he's that heavy. Yeah. Nelson weighed 271 at 6'7", 271. I bet you that was just a thin down. He ran a 4.28 at the combine, and that's probably why.
482.
Yeah, 4.82. I
Just
said
like
4.28.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually what Jamel Dean ran.
I was going to say,
yeah.
we went a 428 at a defense man.
Yeah, good value in the 4th rounds,
Yeah.
getting that defensive end that can play
Corner.
They can play corner, exactly.
You surprised he came out a year early?
So JPP gets traded to us because they thought he wasn't a fit in the 3-4, but here we are. Yeah, well, JPP is a fit in the 3-4. Okay, the person who said he wasn't was David Gettleman. If you've been paying attention to anything the Giants have done over the last couple of years, they don't know crap. So don't believe David Gettleman when he says he couldn't play 3-4. Wrong. He can, and he
Is that what his
will.
voice sounds like?
Yes.
He also called it the Big 12.
Who?
Gettleman.
Cole,
You're
what's the
talking
Big
about
12?
Haskins.
Did he? Oh.
Yeah. He's like, we watched him in the Big 12 last year.
That's funny. Even NFL.com's pro comp to Nelson is Carl Nassib.
Yeah, I can see that. They're similar. I think Carl is I think he's a little bit more of a bendy type of athlete.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the thing is sometimes you have athleticism at the combine and your pro day, and it doesn't translate on the field. And I think Nassib is slightly better than Nelson here, but this is a good pick. This is a good rebound pick if you're depressed about what happened on day 2 last year.
Yesterday.
I'm sorry.
Either one.
You're seeing what happens to a guy that has slept about 7 hours in 2 days.
You better hurry, because if you don't, I'm going to go get for seconds. It's
Okay.
that good.
Okay, go for it.
Go get seconds?
No.
Oh.
I'm gonna go.
Should we pull my finger? I jammed it.
Nope.
Or, got it. Look at this slimming black shirt.
That's
Look at that. Look at that V.
right.
Look at that V.
Hey, conference call. One of you guys quickly in here.
Go. Do I look 48? What would you say? I think about 44.
Not a day over.
On day over 44. No, I don't think Scott watched Travis Homer a whole lot from Miami. I've seen that question a few times on here. What was the food? It was a chicken with the little wing thing attached to it. I don't know what you call that. Kind of like a leg quarter. And it had like cherry tomatoes and garlic and probably some Parmesan cheese or something on it. And then there was asparagus, which I like. It was grilled. It was still crunchy. It wasn't all soggy. Had kind of the char marks from the grill, which was good. and then just some plain bow tie pasta. So it was excellent. Last night, it was like a Mediterranean. They had lamb and couscous and baby carrots. Wasn't a fan of last night's meal, but very thankful that the Glazers feed us because it saves us money. Even if we don't like it, it's still free food. And free food is always good food. My daddy taught me. Someone wants to hand it to you, son, you take it. Airplane cut because the wing is attached. See, I don't know all these food terms. It wasn't quite a leg quarter, you know. It wasn't like that. Oh yeah. You're right. The leg quarter is the leg and the thigh or breast or whatever. This was the wing attached to it, so it was very good. And it was also grilled and then had all the stuff put on top of it. So 40, 42 and a half. At least I don't look 49, which I'll be in October. Oh, now the problem with me scarfing food down that fast is I'm going to have awful indigestion for a couple minutes on air, so I'll try not to burp too much. Taylor doing the conference call?
No, it just ended.
Oh, we missed it.
We got some.
Did we? Good. All right, so Buccaneers, Taylor, when will the Buccaneers pick again? How much longer do we have? We're on pick number 114 now. What's their next pick? Okay, everybody close your eyes. I'm going to count to 3. Everybody close your eyes. Okay, 1, 2, 3. There. You can open them now. No one saw what happened at all. Running back run has begun. What did I miss? Because I was eating. Scott, I tell you, man, this is the best meal of the 3 nights. It's delicious. It's delicious. Terrell Suggs is a perfect example of a guy who tested terribly at the combine, but had hellacious tape. We should have taken Ferguson in round 3, but WTH do I know? Why? What is that loud noise? Is that your computer?
No, it's on my computer. That's NFL Network in the next room.
Oh.
So Bucks pick 145, 7th pick in the 5th round.
All right. We got quite a ways to go. Quite a ways to go. All right. So, Scott, your guy from Memphis that's still left, not Henderson, Pollard.
Tony Pollard. Yeah.
Where's he going to go? What round?
I think there's a chance 5th or 6th.
Do you think the Buccaneers like him? I know that
Yeah.
you said they didn't really like Henderson as much as you did.
Yeah, I think they like him.
So there's a possibility. Look, right now they still have nobody to return kicks on this football team.
Correct. Yep.
So that makes a lot of sense in that spot.
Special teams coordinator Keith Armstrong wanted to definitely upgrade the return game.
And Bruce talked about it in Arizona too, that they want to be more aggressive and, use. And that's something that I love to hear, because to me, Dirk Cutter, in my opinion, felt like special teams was just, let's not screw it up, right?
Sure.
It wasn't a weapon. Love Adam Humphries, but again, Adam was there to catch the ball, secure it, get 6 or 7 yards, and get out of bounds.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw what happened when they put.
Who picked Drew Samia?
I'm not sure. Whoever was before Carolina.
So Sean Wilson would probably be next in line right now on the roster, right, to return.
Sean,
Jare?
Dare.
Either one of them, if they make
Okay,
the
go
offer,
well.
them, grab someone.
Why? Who's going to return punts this year? Bubba Wilson.
Yeah.
He's excelled in the preseason.
Yeah.
But the problem was they weren't going to keep an open roster spot strictly for a return guy.
Right.
So you hope maybe Bobo develops with 2 receivers gone, maybe makes this team out of the gate as a 5th receiver, and then he becomes, I think, your primary kickoff and your punt return guy. Maybe.
Mhm.
We'll see.
Christian Miller, Alabama.
Aaron Sherbert said, thank you for these live streams. Mark and SR. Thank you for Minnesota took Samia. McCoy will be returning kicks. Well, listen, if you can pay him $13 million a year, you got to get your best out of him that you can. Remember Levante David the last 2 years in practice? Every practice, fields punts.
You know who else did that? Derek Brooks.
You know who else did that? Donald Penn. Remember they got to leave practice early that one time under.
That's right. He caught the punt.
Yep, caught the punt out of the jugs machine.
Donald Penn has some hands. Buccaneers found that out the hard way. Remember when the Raiders came and beat the Bucs in overtime, and they got down to the goal line, and everybody in the media knew they were going to throw Donald Penn the ball,
Right.
because we'd seen it happen.
Yep. Everybody but Mike
was
Smith.
clueless.
Yeah. So if McCoy stays, how do they make this work financially? I still don't really see a path. I mean, there is a
Scenario I said
way,
yesterday.
which was what? Mike Evans?
Yep.
Yeah. It is really loud next door there.
Yeah, they're blaring it. It's NFL Network's world. We're just living in it.
Problem with our O-line is how much money is invested in it. Hard to draft guys high that will not start. I expect a developmental guy tackle at some point. Yeah, that's a possibility as well. What exactly do we do if DeMar Dotson goes down like he usually does? How many games did Dotson miss last year, though? He wasn't great, but I don't remember him. He didn't
For the
miss a
whole year?
start. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't healthy coming into it, really. This year,
He just
again,
got beat inside on the running game like every down.
yeah.
But you know what Bruce said about that? He
We're not
didn't,
gonna-
he didn't mention DeMar, but he said, we're going to figure out what these guys can do.
No, he literally mentioned DeMar in Arizona
That's true. He
and
said,
said he can't. There's some things he can't do in the run game,
Right.
and so guess what? We're not going to do run
things.
those plays.
Right.
You know, there's a
How
novel
many times did we
concept.
call it? It's like DeMar can't step to his left and cut off. He can't cut off the guy going across
Right.
the space.
Right.
He can't protect the inside gap
Right.
in the run game. And yet we saw that all the time,
Yeah.
and the Bucs made no adjustments for it whatsoever. God, George Warhol was bad.
Dot struggled and blocking is clear on his way out. Not this year. He's not. He's still the guy this year. Talked to DeMar the other day. Said he's feeling great. In fact, I'll pull up that. I'll read you exactly what he told me. Because I texted him. I was like, "Hey man, why aren't you at minicamp? What the heck?" Thanks, Cliff, for that bit of information. Damar. I said, "Where are you? Minicamp needs you. Are you okay?" What's up, Mark? Yeah, I'm doing great, bro. I'll be there soon. Just wanted to work out a little longer where I was. Man, been feeling awesome. So that's a good sign because DeMar was not feeling awesome last
Remember-
year coming into
He was coming
The
off that,
offseason.
that knee surgery.
yeah. And listen, that may be a reason why he struggled some last year, that he just wasn't 100% healthy. But again, it goes back to you're playing guys because that's all you got. You're playing Caleb Benenoch because you literally have no one else that can play that spot, especially when Evan Smith went out with an injury. And Alex Kapp obviously didn't develop as well as they thought. Amani Hooker, that's a great last name. Favorite name in the draft. I wish it was Max Hooker. That would be cool. Combine those two.
Max Hooker.
Max with 3 X's instead of 2. Why would you have 2 X's in your name, Max?
Sure, double X
Like
factor.
double X.
I know, but did he come up with that, or did his parents do that?
I think
It's
he had,
short for Maximus, right?
He had aspirations of being like in an '80s heavy metal band as like the lead guitarist.
Yeah.
He's got
And
the
it
hair
didn't
for
work
it.
out.
Doesn't he have the blonde
Yeah.
spiked up hair?
Right.
I just want to say one thing. It has nothing to do with sports. You parents
That'll
out
be a
there,
first.
yeah, you parents out there who name your kids, but no, I don't care what you name your kid, but you do the ridiculous spellings just to be a little bit different. That really annoys me.
Hold on. Stay off my lawn.
Get out of my sky, you clouds. But really, it's just so irritating.
I met a tailor like a couple months back. It was like Tailer.
See, this
Nothing.
Yeah. It's almost as annoying as hyphenated names. Austin Safarian Jenkins,
Mhm.
Evan Dietrich Smith.
OJ Howard. Oh wait, that's not hyphenated. We did have a run on hyphenated names there a couple years ago. There was a lot of them. Then
Hold on.
the initial names too. I hate those.
I actually liked Evan Smith better once he dropped the
Yes,
Dietrich from his name.
absolutely.
I wrote more favorably about him.
Yeah. I know, I agree. Yeah, just name your kids their names. Like Mark. Like today somebody would spell it like Marryc. Just Mark is fine. Mom and Dad, why do you spell my name with 13 extra letters in it?
We wanted you to be different.
So ridiculous. You
Guess
know what
what?
that is? That's parents
You know
saying, look at me, look at me.
Right. You know what? Everybody's different.
Right.
Everybody is different. Thumbprints,
Yep.
fingerprints, DNA. We're all different. You
Yep.
don't need to broadcast it to the world with some funky spelling of your name.
Somebody said they would just throw an extra H in my name, Mark, Mahark. Breaking news, Cook is annoyed by something trivial. That's why he is an award-winning Lux Media personality. Thank you, Peter Cast.
Facts.
I don't mean to beat up anybody. Okay, yes, I do. See, Scott should never give me the screen all to myself because I just rant.
I'm eating a healthy meal.
I was
This is good.
listening
I'm
to
enjoying this, Cook. Keep
a
going.
new Bucks podcast today. Everybody and their brother has a Bucks podcast. And listen, everybody has to start out somewhere. I understand not everybody is experienced, didn't have a radio background, what it is. And some of them are really, really good, but there's some really, really bad ones out there. I listened to one this morning, as much as I could of it. And I'm not going to mention it because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. Seemed like a great young man and he's trying really hard, but it was just unlistenable. It was literally, first of all, he kept saying we as if he's on the team.
Stay in your lane. Is that what you're saying?
Can't take that. Yeah. There's not many. There's so
Get off my lawn.
yeah,
Stay in your lane.
Computer Cast is right. There were so many podcasts. Everybody and their brother has a
You know what?
podcast
I
now.
listened to the Bucks UK podcast.
Mhm.
It's pretty good.
Was it?
I mean, they're Buck fans from the UK. I enjoy the accent. I thought it was good. I listened to it for the first time the other day.
Can we bring up the elephant in the room from a couple blocks down the street Thursday night?
What do you mean?
A former podcast, a former group that they've changed their name again.
For the third time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loose Cannons.
Yeah.
That's a new name. But anyway, there's a lot of people competing to try and take over for that podcast. It's no longer available. And that's one of them that I listened to. And I was like, yeah, listen, I applaud anybody that tries and goes out because it takes a lot of guts to do something that you're not familiar with. And, but there's just, we just hope people will check ours out. And I understand if they don't like it, that's perfectly fine. And some people were hating on a couple other podcasts saying, well, they get off topic and they start talking about, trivial things and things like that. And we do that occasionally. But I dare you to find one of our 130 podcasts where there wasn't some solid meat and potatoes in there all the time. I mean, yes, we get off and ramble a little bit, but anyway, which of the new DBs would you fight, Mark? Well, I haven't met him in person yet, but just off the top of my head, I'd probably fight Jamel Dean just because he's got 3 bad knees. So worst case scenario, I just go low with a swift
How
kick.
can you have 3 bad knees? He only has 2 legs.
You told me he had 3 ACLs.
Surgeries.
Okay. Well, you got to have 3 legs to do that. No, I would still go with him. 2 bad legs. I would just take a knee out probably. Listen, my dad taught me a long time ago, when you fight, son, there's no judges scoring the fight. So you're not getting points because you're jabbing a guy.
Right.
It's a fight. You fight to win. And if it takes grabbing a pencil out of your pocket and jabbing it through the guy's eyeball, it's what you do.
Wow.
I mean, you're not scoring fights. And he makes a good point. I told my son the same thing.
You can end it and avoid jail time.
If you get in a fight,
You can.
you fight to win. You don't fight for points. And if you're not in a ring and there's not judges, then there's no rules. We are all friends here. Any critiques from you or Scott about our podcast? Serious question. Only when you do the video part, and I have to see you and Ren, and you go back and forth with the screen, because just like myself, you guys do not have a face for radio.
My only complaint about your podcast is I'm not on enough to win any awards.
That's because he turns you down, and I
That's
don't.
not true.
You know,
I've been invited one time. I'm happy to go on again. We can go
I'll
on
tell
next
you.
week.
I'll tell you what I do. I sometimes see that they're doing a podcast. I just call in, man on the street, and throw in my 2 cents. I don't
Okay.
always, wait to be invited. You don't have to do that.
You just barge in.
And I'm just kidding. No, the Pewtercast, when I really, what I like about those guys is they don't act like they're these insiders. You know what I mean? They're not,
Right.
Acting like the information that they're talking about, they've garnered from their sources, right? They'll say, hey, we saw this on Pewter Report, or Gil Garcia had this, or Rick Stroud had this, or
Yep.
whatever it is.
You know what,
I mean?
too? They're not just kiss asses for the organization either.
That's true.
They're not like fanboys. They're like,
Yep.
the team can do no wrong. They give their honest opinion.
Okay, Mark, who wins in a fight with you or Trevor? That's probably one of those draw fights. Remember I was telling
I'm
you,
going with the old man.
remember
going with the
2-0
old
and 33 is my record? Yeah. It just depends. If Trevor wants to box, he probably wins because I'll get winded. But if he
No.
gets within reach and I get a shot in,
No.
he's going down.
I'm telling you, here's the whole key to beating Trevor.
Collapse his lung.
No, first of all, he's only going to have one hand because he's got his phone in the other hand.
That's true.
Knock the phone out of
Yes.
his hand.
And he'll be like,
When he goes down to pick it up, exactly. In a
Kicking.
panic state,
Yeah.
that's when you just take the knee right to the head.
Yeah.
Just boom, like right there, lights out. That's it.
or grab him by his man bun, true, and drag him across the room. Somebody said if Mark has access to a pencil, Trevor is in trouble. Yeah.
This is true.
And that pencil thing came from my dad when he was in the army in Germany back during the Vietnam days. And fortunately, it was weird. The group before him got sent to Vietnam.
Did he kill somebody with the pencil?
The group after he
What?
won't tell me. The group after him went to Vietnam. Somehow he ended up staying in Germany the whole 3 years. That's how I came along. That's
I got
I
this
was
trick from
born
my
in
dad
Germany.
Vietnam by the pencil.
But he
God.
told me a story about a drunk guy in a bar that, kept talking, tracking. My dad's a real cool, calm guy. He doesn't
Oh,
get
yeah.
overly excited, And, but finally the guy, kept, him and his buddies, they were kind of, picking on my dad. My dad just, casually leaned over and says, you see this pen in my pocket right here? I will jab it through your eye and push it through your brain.
Did you do it?
I can't say yes or no. 'Cause
Wow.
I don't know what the statute of limitations are in Deutschland.
That's a great
So,
story.
Yeah, and the thing is the guy was probably like wondering, is this guy serious?
Right.
But the guy left. I mean, the guy immediately, him and his buddies, they
Well,
left. They didn't just like quit talking to my
Right.
dad. They left the bar. Maybe.
The fact that your dad was thinking about that and then revealed the plan to
Yeah.
the guy.
Yeah.
If I'm the guy, I'm leaving.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, you've already thought about
This guy is already
taking the pen
right.
and jabbing me through the skull.
Right. And
through
pushing
the
it into
eye
my
socket.
brain.
Right.
Right.
Like I'm out.
Yeah.
Because you've already thought about it. It's premeditated.
Right.
You're going to take care of me, and then that's how you're going to do it. I'm gone.
Did you see John Wick 2 when he killed 2 guys with a pencil? Pretty awesome. No, I missed that.
They have John Wick 3 coming up. Can't wait.
FYI, Scott's appearance is easily our most downloaded pod
Nice.
of the season. He knocked it out of the park.
Excellent. Happy to do it again.
Well, unfortunately, those people that listened to it didn't like it that much because they didn't vote him as guest of the year.
That was last year. I appeared this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that appearance counts towards this year's voting.
Jerry Jones asked, Mark, do you believe we go running back in round 5? And if so, who? I've stopped trying to predict what they're going to do in what round, obviously. If I had to guess, they're going to go with another defensive back. No, I think at this point they are looking at, now they're trying to fill some depth holes, and they went defensive line. So I think
I think you can
offensive
see
line
Offense,
is
the right tackle,
Yep.
running back, wide receiver.
and I think of those 3 that Scott just mentioned, wide receiver would probably be last on my list because I think
You
they're
can get an undrafted
okay.
free agent guy. You
Yeah.
can get a Bobo Wilson. You can get a Adam Humphries type. That's possible.
So how open do you guys think the door is for there to be some cuts in the secondary and Gerald McCoy's stay?
No,
That's a reason they don't.
5%. I'm saying it's 5%, 5 to
Is
10%.
McCoy staying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think he's still gone.
Pick is in for the Seahawks,
Gary
wide
Jennings.
receiver Gary
Good pick.
Jennings. Where, yeah.
I like him.
Did you have him in a mock at some point?
I think so.
I think she did
Yeah.
did as well. MJ Stewart and Ryan Smith are all but gone. No, no.
They
I
will
mean,
be after this year. They might stick around this year.
yeah.
That was a hellacious lunch, man. You were
I was I
spot
right?
on.
That was great.
You were bringing the analysis, not just about the Bucks, but about the food today, for real. That was delicious.
You refill my drink in my place.
Hello, Buccaneer fans. Join the
Are you ready for a guest or anybody yet?
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
fine.
Hey, ask Stroud if he said maybe,
Mhm.
depending on the time. So give him the proper formal invite.
Right.
Almond said yes.
Okay.
And Riley said yes. Let's get Almond or Stroud, whoever wants to come first.
Okay. We got some 620 people. We like that.
Yeah, love to have Jay and Len on as well. The Joker movie. I'm waiting to see Endgame. So
Anthony Nelson was updated.
yes, I watched John Wick too. That was a great flick. Are they going to keep 9 defensive backs? Yeah, if you do the math, that's how many defensive backs the Bucks keep. 9, maybe even 10. Just depends on where the numbers are falling. So, haven't seen Shazam. Not a big DC guy, but I've heard good things about Shazam, so I'll give that a go. In-game is a must-see. Yes, definitely looking for that. So tomorrow is going to be complete carnage day for me because I'm going to be watching Endgame with the kids, and then circling back around the evening and watching Game of Thrones. So it's going to be full-on carnage. I want to see multiple deaths and fight scenes and everything. So that's what we're looking at. AMC has $5 movie Tuesdays. I have kids. You don't think I know about that? Of course I do. Yes, that's good stuff. Good information though, Blake. I appreciate you looking out for me. But yep, I'm already all over that. So got a text here. From Peyton Barber. War Eagle, definitely super excited about Jamel Dean. So
I saw Jamel Dean, top 5 cornerback, and something. I think Jonah Tulsa's.
Yeah.
Board.
just texting Peyton back real quick. Yeah, so Peyton Barber, Carlton Davis, thrilled to have another Auburn Tiger down here in Tampa. Seriously, Petercast, Brent Wren, I'm happy to come on next week. Tuesday night, Wednesday night, either one of those nights. So you have my number, give me a call. So let's see where we are in terms of the picks as they're coming in. Sheldrick Redwine just went to the Browns. Gary Jennings, Trevon Wesco. So we're getting a little closer. No, we're not. We're still far away. The Ravens, yeah. Oh, yeah, because you have all these compensatory draft picks now. So I hear one of the almonds in the hall. Do we have an almond? Do we have an almond sighting? Do we have an almond?
We have an almanac.
Switched it up.
Yes. What's up?
How are you?
Rick's down. He's just right in the middle of something right
That's
this
fine.
second.
Yeah.
How we doing?
The man, the myth, the legend. I can say man now because you have a deeper voice.
Hey, listen, you gotta expose me like I are now.
You are not just here. Let's slide over this way, shall we? So we have, so we have Land O'Lakes High School represented here, right there. Gators.
Man.
Yep, you're a Gator through and through.
Get through and through.
Yeah, exactly.
Hopefully all the way.
Riley Allman in the house. Greg Allman's protege, also his child. And
Share your mother?
Cher Almond.
No, Cher. That was Greg Allman's wife. Elijah Blue is their son.
Oh, you're talking about Greg Allman, the
Is this
musician.
not Greg Allman's son? Oh, it's Allman.
I think the
No.
timeline might be a little bit different there.
And not just that, I think Greg Allman passed away. You still like to have your dad around, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's-
At least for a
it's-
couple more
it's
years.
them, yeah.
Plus, I don't think your dad's ever done heroin.
I don't know. I wouldn't put money on it.
That
Wouldn't
he's
put money
willing
on
to
it.
Speak of publicly.
Oh, look at this. We got some Land O'Lakes alum in the house. Gators class of 2001.
Hey, good stuff, man. I'm
Were you born in
2021.
2001?
No.
03, man.
Oh, 03. Okay,
man.
close. Yeah. All right. Okay, so Junior Almanac in the house. Let's talk about. Let's go start to finish. You give me your quick thumbnail sketch of each guy. Devin White, first round pick.
I like Devin White as a player. I definitely think he's the best linebacker in the class. I don't know that I would say Devin White is going to be necessarily worth the value of putting a top 5 pick into a guy like that. But I think that for the value at 5, considering they weren't going to take a guy like Ed Oliver, I think that's
Yeah.
probably about as good of a pick you could have gotten at 5.
Sean Bunting, second round.
Sean
corner.
Bunting, like the athletic potential. I think it seems like pretty much everybody was sold on the fact that he was going to end up going top 50. So I don't
Mhm.
mind. I don't consider it to be a reach or anything like that. I think with his athletic
Yeah.
potential, I think just get him to be a little bit less grabby. I think it makes a ton of sense as a press man corner in this new
Yeah.
scheme.
Yeah.
I really like the first 2 picks there. Then I think
third round, they traded down. They acquired another pick. They went cornerback again with Jamel Dean, who was not just a Bucks best bet. Jamel Dean was also in PeterReport.com.
Come on in.
Come on in, Rick Stroud.
I'm subbing out.
I-
Subbing out.
Yep.
I warned,
We'll get you back
I warned
in.
I'm back in
Riley
there.
that he's
This
a
is where all the
fill-in.
food is. I've been looking for it.
We got lots here.
Don't go too far, because.
Wait, you had him. Why'd you knock him out?
Yeah, that's cool. Just text me, right?
Because we know you have limited. He's
That's
free
right.
all
Yeah, he's
afternoon.
not working. He's here for the
We
fun.
will have part 2 of Riley.
Ray Riley Allman.
Yes.
Hey man, I'm on my foot here. I'll be back.
Rick Stroud in the house. Tampa Bay Times, Bucks beat writer extraordinaire.
Hey, man. How we doing?
Absolutely.
There I am.
This is Peter Nation. Rick Stroud.
Computer Nation.
Yes. So let's talk about. I was just having Riley kind of do the same thing, but we want your expert
Rick
opinion.
said he didn't want to talk about the Bucks.
Nah, I'll talk about the Bucks.
Okay. We can talk lightning if you want. That's
No.
even more depressing.
No.
But let's talk about Devin White. You and I were there with Riley's father, Greg,
Mhm.
in Indy. We were kind of connecting some dots, and you could kind of see all the way back in late February, early March that Devin White. Once we knew kind of the direction they were going, defense for sure in this draft, we sniffed out accurately their lack of enthusiasm for Gerald McCoy. We knew that they were going to get rid of Deshaun Jackson, and it just all of a sudden started to really seem like with Todd Bowles' defense, Devin White would be a really good fit.
Yeah, because Bowles asked those guys to do so much. You know, I think. Look, we've had people critical of the decision to take a guy like Devin White over Josh Allen, because we're used to thinking that, and maybe rightfully so, that an edge rusher has more value than a Mike linebacker. But in this defense, what you got to remember is it's all predicated on a lot of pressure in the middle and versatility.
Mhm.
And you've been doing this a while, Scott. It's hard to find a guy at 240 pounds that runs a 4.4 that can blitz and also change direction and cover guys like Alvin Kamara and Christian McCaffrey and make one-on-one tackles in the flat.
Yes.
We saw, I go back to a couple games last year, Chicago, which did not look like pro football, by the way.
No, it was awful.
And how Mike Smith didn't get fired after that game.
Should have been.
Should have been.
Yeah.
But you saw, Quan Alexander, and you saw the middle of the field just sort of open all day, and the perimeter is open all day because they could not get Cohen down.
Right.
They couldn't cover anybody.
Yep.
And
then you go to that Carolina game in Carolina.
Yeah,
it looked like
same thing.
Keystone Cops.
same thing.
They were misdirecting the Buccaneers left
Right.
and right. They didn't have the speed
They didn't have the speed.
to follow the Curtis
And-
Samuel and Christian McCaffrey and DJ Moore.
Exactly right. And so now what we've seen, and we'll get into this, I'm sure, about the defensive backs, is sort of the same thing. I mean, Bowles needs guys that can run, first and foremost. And he needs guys that are versatile because he wants to bring pressure from everywhere.
Yes.
Well, when you do that, you have to have somebody cover the backside of that,
That's
right?
right.
So whether that's a defensive end that can drop,
Right.
or a defensive back who can line up and cover, you have to have that. So what we've seen them draft is they look at the guys they drafted last year and said they're not fast enough.
Right.
They can't change direction well enough.
Specifically MJ Stewart,
Right.
and maybe to a degree Jordan Whitehead.
Yes.
I think those are the two guys.
Right.
And fans are kind of screaming about, well, gosh, they just drafted Jordan Whitehead. Well, Jordan Whitehead was a 4th round draft pick.
Yeah.
That's what you expect.
He shouldn't have had to play, quite
Exactly.
frankly.
Yeah.
In a perfect world,
Right.
he doesn't get on the field.
Yeah.
Except on special teams. He's
Exactly
Keith
right.
Tandy.
Yeah, exactly. It's Keith
You know what I
Tandy.
mean?
Yep. Now, the other thing too is Jason, you can kind of see this in the press conference. I asked him right off the bat about, he drafted 9 defensive backs in the last four drafts.
I know.
But the thing is we saw this and we saw Jason Light after the game in the locker room, like guzzling Pepto-Bismol, right? Because he's having to sign Devontae Harris off the street, Andrew Adams off the street, Josh Shaw off the street,
And play him.
Javian Elliott. You're starting Ryan Smith.
Yeah.
And you're going up against Drew Brees and Matt Ryan and Cam
You have
Newton.
no chance.
You have no chance.
Yeah.
And
Now, having said all that, what we're witnessing here is what the Bucs have been about and why they're not very good. Why they haven't won in 11 years. When you change coaches every 2 or 3 years, when you change schemes, I don't care who you're talking about, Mike Smith or Greg
Lovie
Schiano
Smith
or
or-
Lovie
yeah.
Smith. It doesn't matter whether you like those guys or not. They have their own set of requirements for the type of players that
Yep.
they think fit in what they want to do. And when you change it, you're more or less sort of canceling out whole draft classes.
Yeah.
And you can't survive in the league if you can't draft, develop, and keep
Right.
guys. So far, the 2015 class is like, okay, great. Wow, what a class. They
Yeah.
re-signed everybody.
Sure.
And
And after that, it's been
hit and miss, mostly miss.
Now, I've kind of developed this theory a little bit, and it's not like Jason Light has a crystal ball. It's really accidental how this has happened. But if you look, he goes back in 2016 and drafts Vernon Hargraves, a press man corner at Florida, and he doesn't play press man under Mike Smith for 2 years.
I know.
And then he drafts
Noah
Noah
Spence.
Spence, who is really more of a 3-4 outside linebacker than
Yep.
he is a 4-3 hand in the dirt defensive end because of his size
Yeah.
or lack thereof.
Yeah.
Then he comes back and drafts, I think, Justin Evans, an attacking safety who's better at the line of scrimmage rather than on the goal line playing safety net rather than an actual safety. Then you look at Carlton Davis, who is a press man corner again,
Yeah.
and Vita Vea, who really played nose tackle, 3 technique,
He's a
even 5
3-4.
technique as a 3-4 guy.
Yeah, no doubt.
And it's like going back to 2016, 17, and 18, it's like Jason Light is drafting players for Todd Bowles' scheme like he had a crystal ball saying, well, I'm going to draft these guys and we have to like get through the Mike Smith era, but damn it, they're going to be having a rebirth in 2019.
Yeah, he didn't do those other coaches any favors if that was the case.
I know.
But he's fortunate, to your point, that he does have players like Hargraves and Carlton Davis that will feel better and are more equipped to
Yeah.
play press corner than play off. Although I say this, if you're a good defensive back,
Mhm.
okay, you should be able to play zone.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Yeah.
should be able to be smart enough,
Right.
stout enough to tackle, able to read plays. I mean, you're in open space, you're in grass, you're not,
Right.
I don't buy the whole Brett Grimes theory. Don't pay me to play, play me
Yes.
to play man to man. But
Yeah.
I mean, the easiest thing to do, and most players want to say, hey, you got him, the cat
Right.
defense. He's
Yep.
got that cat, you got this
Mhm.
cat. Because there's no, at least in that defensive scheme, there can't be a breakdown.
Right.
There can be if you're blitzing and somebody's supposed to cover your backside. But I
Mhm.
mean, but basically, if I'm lining up against this guy, he's my guy, and you don't have the breakdowns. They had a ton of breakdowns.
Yeah. Well, and going
Mike's-
back to Monty Kiffin would draft man corners because it was you can teach a man corner how to play zone,
Mhm. You
but
can't teach
you
a guy
can't
that
teach
can't-
a zone guy to play man.
And you also, in that defense, the one that Mike Smith was trying to play and that Kamani did play, your
Quarters.
corners have to tackle.
Yeah.
And you play quarters, but they have to tackle. They have
Mhm.
to come up and set the edge.
Right.
And they have to be willing to stick their nose in there a little bit.
Wasn't
you know?
exactly Brent Grimes'
I don't
forte.
think that's what Brent wanted to
Yeah.
do. He was escorting guys out of sideline 25 yards down the field like it was a prom or something.
Right.
I don't know what he was
Well
doing.
said. Okay, so fans can go out there and they can look at Devin White and they can watch all the highlight videos and all that.
Yeah.
You and I have a chance to not just see this guy at the press conference, but sit there and get a feel for him and ask him questions in that media setting. Now, I've been known to stick my neck out and my reputation on the line at times,
Mhm.
and I really did it yesterday, and I stick with it. I've been doing this since 1995. I walked in the door with Sapp and Brooks. I think you got me by a couple of years. I have not felt a presence about a player drafted in the first round since Warren Sapp and Derek Brooks with the aura that this guy has. I'm not talking about necessarily the highlight reel. I'm talking about the confidence, the swagger, the belief, the will to win. He is Jameis Winston-like in that respect. In that there's like light bulbs go on when he comes in the room. There's something about this guy. Contrast that to Vita Vea's press conference last year, where I was like expecting an island warrior and he was like a big teddy bear. And I'm almost thinking, holy crap, like who did they draft?
Yeah, well, don't always judge the package by the box, though. You know that too.
Yes.
Because if you ever talk to Leroy Selman, who was still maybe
Exactly.
the greatest player in franchise,
The gentle
history,
giant. Yeah.
you would never guess that he could be as ferocious of a player as he is. So
Yeah.
I kind of, and Warwick Dunn was the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, there are players that are tough as
Complete
nails.
baller that
They don't
just
say
didn't say
anything.
anything. Yeah.
But to your point, if you dig at all into him, into White, he has been like this almost godlike athlete from this little town in northern Louisiana, just a couple miles from the Arkansas state line, where, in fourth grade, he was 5'11" and dunking the basketball. In fourth grade, he's been playing with guys that have been 3 and 4 and 5 years older than him from the time he was 8 years old.
Right.
And hanging with them and dominating them. Now, that might not sound like much on the playground, but when you do that, he was a legend. I mean, this guy, rushed for 5,000 yards and 81 touchdowns and played linebacker and did everything. He's an incredible story. So that,
And he feels responsibility to that community.
totally.
It's not like
he's proud of it. Yeah,
it's not like he has a 5-star virus and
No.
I'm this is handed to me and kiss the
just
ring
the
and stuff.
opposite.
Right.
He wants to be the example to get more people from his area to go.
Right.
But my point, I guess, the bigger thing is that he's confident because there's never been a time in his life where he wasn't the best player,
Yes.
and he knows that
That's
won't
the standard,
change.
right?
And that's not going to change at this level. Like
Right.
he has the ability. There's no question.
Mhm.
And for him, it's just a matter of getting used to the pace of the NFL and being a professional, and you're not going to class,
Right.
and like this is your job, and there's grown men with mortgages and kids,
Yeah.
and you have to lead them. Now at
Yeah.
21, that would intimidate most people.
Sure.
It's not going to intimidate him.
He was a captain at age 19
Yeah.
as a sophomore.
And they're
at LSU.
grown ass men in college. I
Yeah.
remember going to college when I went to Arkansas State, and I saw guys with babies.
Yeah.
And I wasn't prepared for that. I was like, wow, you got a wife and a baby. And I'm like, right out of junior college.
You just
So-
had prom, right?
Yeah, right. So like it stuns you, but nothing is going to surprise. And look, he's an amazing player. Like
Yes.
there's very little he can't do
Right.
on a football field. He was a running back, so he was talking about how when they worked him out,
Mhm.
Caldwell put him through these drills.
Mike Caldwell, the
the
linebackers coach.
to see his hips and to see him change direction like a running
Mm-hmm.
back. And a lot of things he can do on defense against running backs is because he has the same athleticism. How
Right.
rare is it to see a guy play linebacker that can do those things that Alvin Kamara can do?
Yeah.
So, this is a guy that's really confident, and he studies football. He also, he's authentic. Like I've seen a lot of guys come in here, and you have too, Scott, that
Yep.
try to say what you want them to say.
Yes.
Try to follow the script.
Mhm.
I just want to help the football team, and that's or maybe they have this persona that they try to be.
Mhm.
This guy, I think, if you saw him out on the town in any walk of life, he's going to be Devin. He's going to
Yeah.
be Devin White. There's
Yeah. What
nothing
you see is
gonna
what you get.
change about him. He's
Yeah.
very authentic, and I like that about a guy because this league will eat you up and make you
Yeah.
into somebody you're not.
I love the fact that he's going to learn from Levante David, a guy
Oh,
who will take him under his wing,
Tremendous. Yeah.
and that's going to accelerate his learning curve. When what I said yesterday, and I'll say it again to get your reaction.
Mhm.
When you look at Sapp and Brooks, two distinctly different personalities, right? You have Warren Sapp, who was the fire starter. He was the swagger, the badass,
Yeah.
the cocky guy. Brooks was the cool, confident, supreme leader. Didn't say much, towed the company line, but had that gravitas about him. But both of those guys, what made Sapp and Brooks have so much initial mutual respect, aside from warring against each other in high school
Mhm.
in the state of Florida and battling at Florida State and Miami, was they both had the will to win. And they got here and they followed Hardy Nickerson, the other lone Buccaneer at that time that had the will to win on the defensive
Yeah, he
side,
did.
right? I mean, Warren Sapp knew right away Eric Curry does not belong here, right? I mean, and he could go around the room saying, you don't belong here and all this. And all of a sudden Hardy was probably like, thank God. Now I got some backup. Now I got some help with these young guys. And I got this safety Bucko backer, John Lynch.
But Hardy did not he didn't back down from those guys. Like he busted their wigs pretty good.
Exactly.
Too. Like he was really on top of Brooks.
Yes.
And on top of Sapp, and they didn't have neither one. They're both out of position. They didn't have great rookie years.
Right.
But then shortly thereafter, when Tony got here, they did. But
Scheme change, yeah.
I think all that's true. I mean,
and I see in Devin White, I see
he's going to hold guys accountable. I think that's
Yes.
what you're talking about.
Hold them accountable and have the will to win.
Mhm.
Just that absolute will. He named his horse Override because
Overdrive.
Overdrive, yeah, because that's how he wants to play in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, he wants to be the guy that's running when everybody else is slowing down, and he just has that kind of motor. Look, he's going to have a great year. There's still a lot to learn in the NFL at that position. He's not going to be 100%, but he does have a pro in Levante. This defense still has a lot of holes.
It does,
and they're trying to fill them. And
I think too, having a Deion Buchanan here
helps,
and having a Kevin Minter here. If Devin White needs a series off to go stand next to Caldwell on the sidelines. On first down, you can plug in Kevin Minter. On third down, you can plug in a Buchanan alongside Levante. And Devin White can get some tutelage and then go back in on the next series without the pressure of being that 75 snap linebacker every single game.
But you know this, they're not taking him off the field.
They don't want to.
He's going to play every snap.
They don't want to.
I mean, he'll have to raise his hand and tap out to come out because they're not taking him off the field.
And he's too prideful to do that. So, okay, so I asked him a question because I really wanted to get some response about playing against Cam Newton twice a year and Atlanta's Matt Ryan and Drew Brees.
Yeah.
And I asked him about the challenges of playing those quarterbacks in the NFC South. And he said, those are all people that I can take down and get them on the ground. Cam Newton, the bigger you are, the harder you fall. Matt Ryan, I don't think he can outrun me. And Drew Brees, I definitely don't think he can outrun me. He can get it out quick, but I can get in the passing lanes and I can hold his guys. I'm ready to accept the challenge. The bigger the challenge, the better I play. I told the Bucs last night, pressure either busts pipes or makes diamonds. For me, it makes diamonds.
Yeah. No, he's not intimidated. He's
not.
He's challenging those guys.
He's challenging himself. He's got to
is.
say, I got to be ready to face future Hall of Famer and Drew Brees.
That's what great
Matt
players.
Ryan.
That's what great players do. And like I said, it goes back to him being a young kid competing against guys that were, much bigger and stronger than him. And he didn't back down then. And he has all the ability in the world now. It's physical ability, but he'll learn the NFL game. But he's also a guy that is sort of a gym rat too. Like he can tell you, like he said, cause he was a running back, he sees things in the backfield. He just studies a lot of tape. He looks for clues. This is not a guy that's just going to go out there. And I thought at times, this might be an indictment on Quan. I thought at times like Quan guessed a lot.
Yes, he did.
Agreed wholeheartedly. Quan brought a lot of passion, right? He's a heart and soul. Well, that's great. Right. Okay. How about you make plays and be where you're supposed to be? And not only that, not miss tackles, and tell other guys where they're supposed to be. Because I always felt like Quan wasn't instinctive. That he was too instinctive. Maybe he just went with his first instinct or impulse, and he took himself out of a lot of plays. Whereas I think this guy will be a little more higher IQ in football.
Sound
fundamentally, not going to make bad decisions, not going to run himself out of plays.
It's interesting to know we gave Mark Duffner some credit when the defense improved a little bit once Mike Smith was fired.
Because they had nowhere to go but up.
Right. Yes, true.
I mean,
But we kind of put that a little bit on Mark Duffner, like, hey, attaboy, Mark, you
sure, he took it
did a
over.
better
They
job.
got better.
But Levante David took over the play calling duties once Quan was down,
He did.
and there was better
Something
play.
He said better communication.
Yep, there's
Yeah.
better play because of that.
Yeah,
It's
no,
interesting.
something about it.
All right, so we got Rick for a couple more minutes here. Appreciate your time as
Yeah.
always. So if you have any questions directly for Rick, now's the time to fire them away. Exactly, Stroud, about Quan. Yep, this guy knows his stuff. There's no doubt about it. It's why we have him on. It's why we're
I
friends.
guess right a lot.
We all do, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've seen a lot of things about Gerald McCoy.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Gerald McCoy and his future, because it has been.
Let me check my phone
Bantied
and make
about.
sure he's still a buck. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
still here.
So what are your thoughts as it stands right now, entering round 5?
Well, I mean, look, if he
Gerald
doesn't
McCoy.
get traded today, and when I say traded, I don't think they're going to get any value for him. I mean, we're already in the third day. We're getting
What did
into
Deshaun Jackson get?
ham
the sixth,
sandwich,
right.
a Philly steak sandwich. It
Yeah.
was they got a 6th and gave up a 7th, which is
Yeah.
essentially, hey, if you'll just give me something, I'll give you something back.
We just want $10 million off the
Yeah,
salary cap. Is
yeah.
what Jason Light said.
That's all it was. I mean, so that's what we call a favor in the NFL.
Remember Animal, Joe Fulford?
Yeah, Joe.
Yeah.
Joe writes me all the time.
Yeah.
So Joe McCoy, they don't have a bridge for him to come back in this building.
I know.
They haven't built one. In fact, they burned every chance of him coming back, unless they want to pay him $13 million and he wants to play football and he can only play here.
Right.
That's the only way Gerald McCoy is going to be a Buccaneer, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They have no money to sign their draft picks now. When this day ends, will Gerald McCoy still be a Buck? He could be, sure,
Yeah.
because they don't need the money until they actually start signing players,
Which won't be till
which won't be for a month
June,
or so.
July, yeah.
So they can keep him and
See what happens. Yeah.
But I think what their hope of hopes would be that we're almost through the draft now. When we get to the end of the day or near the end of the day, a team like, say, the Rams or the Colts that
Right.
has watched Joe McCoy
that has the
tape,
cap room.
that says we have cap room. We're not going to pay him $13 million, but we'll get on the phone with Ben Dogra
Mhm.
with your blessing, work out some kind of a deal.
Maybe 10.
maybe 10, maybe 8.
Yeah.
I don't know what Gerald's number is.
Right.
I know this about Gerald. He is a prideful guy.
Mhm.
He got unfairly blamed for the mess that's been the Buccaneers for
Right.
11 seasons. He was here 9 of them.
Mhm.
He wants to play 3 or 4 more years. He's working on his body, changing his diet, doing
Right.
a lot of things, and now he's mad.
Yeah.
A mad Joe McCoy will be interesting because he usually doesn't play with that anger, and
I
that
know.
was one of the things that people criticize.
That might be
him
a
for.
good thing, right?
But it
If
might
you-
actually
if you,
help
If you
him.
burn the bridges, piss him off, and then
Yeah,
have him
and
come back
so
and make him play.
He might get a better. But I don't think he's going to play here because I'm fairly certain that they're not going to pay him $13 million. I mean, when they
Right.
talk about the guys they have, they'll mention JPP and Carl
Mhm.
Nassib. They'll call out the roster like Santa's reindeer, but they don't mention
Right.
Gerald McCoy. So at the end of the day, this day, if he's still a Buck, he won't be for long. I think they'll have to release him and
Yeah.
just take the bath. If not,
Can he play right tackle?
yeah, they don't have one of those either. Look, there's so many things they haven't addressed in this
Right.
draft, and I'm surprised at it. I mean, all I heard was we have to get somebody. We got to address the right side of that offensive line.
Yeah.
They didn't do it. They kept drafting corners, and now they have a defensive end, and we'll see where that goes. But yeah, Gerald's either. And when I say traded, like there might be maybe they get in the 6th round,
Yeah.
5th round, and they go, "Hey, we'll let you move up 7 spots with
Yep.
us."
And use him like as a chip.
And
in
you
that-
take Joe McCoy,
Right.
but you've got something. You moved up 7 spots, and we'll
Oh,
trade Joe.
Dallas
McCoy.
took Tony Pollard. Good player. I
Yeah,
think the Bucks liked him.
the running back.
Yep.
Yeah, they needed
And a
needed
kick
somebody
returner.
like that. And a
7
kick returner, yeah.
7 returns for
Touchdown
touchdowns.
guard from Indiana. I mean,
And Drew Smee and Ben Powers both went within a few picks.
Did they?
They're
Yeah.
both gone.
yeah.
I mean, they were both guys I think they could have stepped in.
Right. So right tackle, one of the kids that we saw at the Senior Bowl and the East West Shrine game, Oli Udo
Mhm.
from Elon, is a name to keep in mind.
I love those small school guys.
They do. Yep. Humboldt State.
At this
Hobart
point, that's
College.
what you're at. I mean, that's
Right.
I mean, what are they going to do? I mean, is Alex Kappa going to be their right guard?
Either him or Earl Watford.
Is Beninock going to? I guess Watford at this
Yeah,
point.
and
But
Watford's
Watford, and
the
then
pole position right now.
and then Dotson will start the year and see how far he can go until
Yeah.
the tires come off,
Yeah.
which might not be long. But
And Caleb Beninock now moving back to his more natural right tackle position.
so he's like
But I don't know if Beninock is an NFL player.
hadn't proven it.
No. So I think they're done in the secondary. They've got 9 draft picks over the last 4 years, and you're only going to keep 9 DBs, maybe
Total.
10. So I think their secondary is set.
Yeah.
And then you throw in guys like Kentrell Bryce that they signed as a free agent. Okay, I want to get your thoughts on this because this is something we've talked about on our last podcast, on the video cast. Justin Evans still not practicing. He had a turf toe injury, what we believe is a turf toe, that kept him out the last 6 games of last year.
Yeah.
So you do the math on that. That's November, December, January, February, March, April. We're almost into May. That's 7 months with this turf toe injury. He is not practicing on the field.
So I think it's a tell.
Yeah.
I think it's a tell that they're very worried whether he can play. And if
Yeah.
he does play, what is he going to be?
Right.
You know, he's not the guy that had, you know, all they talked about was, the range that he had, you know, as a center fielder. Well, if you've got a bad toe or bad wheel at that position, you know, it knocked guys out of the league.
Yeah.
And
Who are some of those guys? Deion Sanders ultimately.
was one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the guy that
Wasn't
comes
it
to
Alex
mind.
Karras?
Oh, I know,
The
you're going
Lions?
back, you're going back further than I can
Larry
remember. Zonka maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's old school. But yeah, but I mean, Sanders was the one that I remember the most because he's the most accomplished. But guys, you know, football in general was certainly guys like that have to use their feet. Him and Beckwith has done too. I think if there were good news that we'd hear about it, but he's now going to see specialist after specialist, trying to get someone to agree with him that he can still play football.
Right.
And he can't find that guy.
Agreed.
So, you know, but Justin Evans, that would be a loss. And frankly, it's probably why they drafted a safety, because they don't have any depth back there.
Yeah, they really do. And you look at, now all of a sudden you look at that 2017 draft class, which started with some promise, right? Because Beckwith played really well as a rookie. Chris Godwin has emerged. OJ, I think, is a potential Pro Bowler.
OJ's great, yeah.
Right. But now all of a sudden, if you lose your second rounder, Justin Evans, and Beckwith, one of your third rounders, you're left with Chris Godwin and OJ. You know.
Well, look, there's 3 guys that were on Arizona's team that were drafted when Jason was there. They're now on this team.
Yeah. Minter,
Earl Watford, Minter,
and Andre Ellington.
Andre Ellington, yeah. So I mean, you know, they're not counted necessarily as starters here.
Right. They knew the system.
So what does that make them? You know what I mean? Like, was that a great draft? I mean, you know, so I don't know how people are going to grade this, and you can't grade drafts the day of the draft, or even after. I don't know this one. I think they got the first one right. I don't know if they got
Jack Lambert's another one. The
Jack
turf toe
Lambert,
cost him.
Yeah. It's a big injury.
Beninock's natural position is bench. That's good.
I don't know.
All right. Last thing for you, and I appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Running back position. This, and we heard it at the combine. We've heard it every time Bruce speaks. He is punch drunk on Peyton Barber, and it's the love is real. It's not imagined.
It's real, but it's also all he has.
Right. But they haven't gone out and got anybody else either. So
they haven't. They haven't. But then, you know, what would you have done in free agency? They didn't draft anybody, if that's what you mean.
Correct.
You know, the problem is
like
Ronald
Isaiah
Jones.
Crowell. You know, was out there. There were some other guys.
But there will be there will be running backs, I think, after this draft too. You're going to see another second wave of cuts and things that happen when these draft comes over.
One of the things that we mentioned before you came on is the fact that they flooded the secondary with picks this year. They flooded the position like they flooded defensive line the year before. Right. And they went from 20 sacks to 38 in the span of 1 year.
Improvement, yeah.
And the reason why you flooded is because you can't sit there in the NFL and say, okay, we drafted a lineman or we added one and we're done, because Mitch Unrein does not play it down for you. Your number 1 pick misses the first 4 games with a calf injury.
Yeah.
Vinny Curry, your defensive end. I mean, thank God Jason Light went out and got Carl Nassib.
Carl Nassib
because
was the find of the year.
He was.
What happens,
and Carl Nassib was the last player they added after JPP, Vinny Curry, Mitch Unrein, Bo Allen, Vita Vea. They added Carl Nassib, and thank God that they did.
But you know this, Scott. Great to good defensive linemen aren't free agents.
That's right.
They're not available.
Yeah. They're like left tackles.
You can get a dude, you know, that might be better than your guy, but it doesn't mean you're going to overpay somebody like they did Vinny Curry, and he's going to turn out to be exactly what he was in Philadelphia, which is why they didn't pay him.
Or even a Chris Baker.
Yeah. So here's what I want to know. If Joe McCoy doesn't play this year, how good is Vita Vea going to be with no McCoy next to him, with Bo Allen?
Yeah.
With
Stevie Tuikilovato.
With you know, William Golston.
Yeah.
I mean, you think that teams aren't going to go, let's block him.
Right. Yeah.
So, we saw
All of a sudden, Vita's the mark man. Not so
right.
much
We
Gerald.
saw
Yeah.
Vita come on at the end of the year and do some things, but they still had 93 next to him for the
Right.
most part.
That's a great point.
So
Great
I'm
point.
anxious to see if he can handle that.
Yep. Rick Stroud is always a pleasure.
All right, buddy.
man. Yep.
Yeah, anytime.
Hey,
Peter Nation.
go ahead and pimp your show.
Oh,
Every morning you wake up.
Yeah, I'm gonna
And
do
you get
this
right in
like
front
at
of
1
your
o'clock in the
computer.
morning,
Yeah.
actually, late at night for the most part. But yeah, we have a podcast called Sports Day Tampa Bay. You can get it wherever podcasts are, including this one. iTunes, all of that, and it's pretty cool. We talk to a lot of the writers of the Times. We talk to different people, but it's me and Steve Versning, and basically we just go over not just Bucks, but it's Bucks, Rays,
Lightning.
Lightning,
Yeah, a lot of
when
great
they
Lightning
were
stuff.
playing,
Yep.
and have some good interviews and have a little fun. So yeah, check that out.
Appreciate your time. as
All right,
always.
man.
Yep.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
We'll see you. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
So there you have it right there. That guy is absolutely one of the best when it comes to reporting on the Buccaneers. And we got a little wild and crazy in Indy. That's a fun town, and we kind of tore it up a little bit at the combine, which was really cool to do something other than just talk Buccaneer football together. So let's see. We've had a couple of Bucks best bets go off the board here. Tony Pollard was one, and let's see here.
You're back.
Iman Marshall was the other. Crap! I think I was so tired. I called Iman Marshall Iman Campbell in the preview. I just realized that.
Way to go.
In the day three thing. Well, it didn't matter because they're done at the defensive backfield. So
I did that last night when I was like loading up TweetDeck. I was writing Mike Edwards,
Yeah.
and then that somehow changed like Mike Evans real quick. Luckily, I caught it like right on.
Right. Jarrett Stidham to the Patriots.
Yeah.
Interesting pick. Falcons pick is in right now. Greg Gaines to the Rams. So that might negate any interest the Bucks have in shipping Gerald McCoy to the Rams. The Rams might say, no, thank you. We already got our guy in Greg Gaines, who had a really good Senior Bowl, but I didn't do a whole bunch. That's a good NFL comp. Jim Burt to Greg Gaines. I think that Jim Burt, that's a good comp. I could see that.
All right, Stu, who stole my Copenhagen?
Nope, nobody stole your Copenhagen. No, nobody dips but you.
Somebody. I mean, that's the pouches, but I'm talking about the regular kind.
Oh, I have no idea.
Somebody.
I don't keep track of your stuff, Ellie. Logan, that's what you ever tell your kids that when they're looking for something?
Yeah.
Sorry, Douglas, I don't keep track of your stuff.
Of course, then when I can't find something, I say, help me look for it. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I didn't lose it. That's what I always say.
Yeah, I learned a long time ago. Keys and wallet go on my desk in the office. The minute I walk in, that's where they go.
Yeah.
And the one time out of 100 that I don't do that, I curse myself. I want to like punch myself in the face because I'm so stupid. Like I've lost the keys, don't know where the wallet is, and I have myself to blame. Chris Fortune, that's a great name, Chris Fortune. Thanks for coming back.
So where are we at with the Bucks?
How do I feel about? We're still in the 5th round,
Come on, guys.
or actually no, the 4th round. It's long because you have all these compensatory picks.
I got
So
10 picks or so. I think
Yeah.
they're 145.
Do anybody
How am I
want
with-
any guests?
how am I with the Nelson pick? I think it's a good pick. I think that he is a better pass rusher than Will Golston. That's something we identified
No
as
doubt.
as a position of need. Somebody to compete with Golston who can do more at that position against the passer. And we said John Kaminsky because he's a touch better athlete, but the level of competition that Nelson's faced in the Big Ten compared to John Kaminsky and what he faced at Charleston is night and day. At the same time, both those guys were at the Senior Bowl, and neither one really stood out,
Neither one
right?
jumped on the page.
Anthony Nelson didn't have a great week, and neither did John Kaminsky. Holyfield is still there, so there's some hope. I don't get the whole Holyfield thing. I think Holyfield is
Slow
an
as dirt.
okay guy, but he is slow. Yeah, this team needs some speed. Joe Fulford says, Scott, if the Bucks cut McCoy, are the Bucks still responsible for the cap number? No, because he does not have any owed money that's guaranteed. This is $13 million that you're going to instantly get if you're Tampa Bay and you cut Gerald McCoy. So that's where they're looking at the cap crunch and saying that, yeah, Gerald, we might need your $13 million more than, and there goes John Kaminsky to the Falcons.
Right on cue.
There you go.
Charleston, what are the 49ers? Are they? Yeah, the 49ers.
Do we have any other Anthony Nelson pictures?
Yeah. Yep, I got some.
His interview was pretty short. It was 3 questions.
Hey, your wish is my command, Matt. When it comes to pictures, that's it.
Please.
Did you guys have a chance to eat?
I did.
Yeah.
Good meal,
yeah,
right?
I just,
Yeah.
yeah. I got the last piece of chicken too.
Did you? Good for you. That's a nice score. That's good chicken.
There was enough salad. Then I opened up the next one.
What in the world is that? Twins? Old twins. Old guy twins.
Like the guys on that picture of the fat guys on the motorcycle.
Like the opposite of what you want from twins.
Exactly. Well
Yeah,
said.
Did you get some
Who did the
young hot
commercial?
twins?
Bud
Hold
Light
on.
or
That's
Coors
the
Light?
best commentary on day 3 we've had so far. That's good, Taylor.
We got some twins.
Oh my
They're
God,
young
they
and
got
hot.
Michael
Nope,
Jordan?
they're old. They're
Yeah.
male, and they've got goatees.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
Michael Jordan.
Was it-
well hold on now. Maud and Clara might think they're hot. Okay.
Who did the and twins? What company did that commercial? I think it was a
I
beer
think it was
commercial.
Bud Light. Yeah.
Yes, I think you're right.
And I think it was Scare Movie 2 or 3. They did like a spoof of it. It's like, love, parties that never end,
Yeah.
dogs that love cats.
Right. And twins. Let's see. 144. Let's see. Awesome. Mark, you're going to need to plug in here. Otherwise, we're going to lose the feed.
Yes. I mean, okay.
All right. And
What is
twins.
that that's plugged in, that gray cord right there? To this big, huge,
Yeah, that's
100
to the monitor.
not working. We're unplugging.
You want me to?
Yeah.
I'm afraid to like unplug it and then all
I know.
the lights come out and stuff.
Probably won't happen.
All right. Second pick of Anthony Nelson is in the admin.
Jerome Bettis ran a 4.740. Okay. It's Jerome Bettis.
Yeah, he also broke a hell of a lot more tackles than Holyfield did.
Surprisingly, football is a tiny bit different
Yeah.
right now than when the steel curtain was dominating.
Plug that in my computer over there. All right. Fine. Any of the slots there.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Second pick of Anthony Nelson is in. Many people think that Iowa is actually like an Indian name, like Shawnee or Antioch or those types of things. It's actually not. It's an acronym. It stands for Idiots Out Wandering Around. It's kind of a Midwestern thing. I don't know if you guys know that.
Simple-minded folk.
Yeah.
I like to call them.
Simple-minded. Yeah.
I was out there for a wedding last year. A lot of windmills, a lot of farm. Their
Lot of
big
corn.
saying is knee
Lot of
high by
corn.
4th of July.
Yeah.
That's like the big saying. That's like every star. Like, oh, did you see the
Mhm.
corn stalk yesterday? It's up to 12 inches now.
Wild.
Yeah.
I drove through Kansas.
All right, so-
all the corn was dead.
So who would you rather have? Has Benny Snell gone yet?
And he still has gone.
Who do you go to?
I know he.
Can't remember, but he went.
Okay, well then forget that question. I was going to say, who would you rather have, Benny Snell or Elijah Holyfield?
Benny Snow.
Benny
Yeah.
Snell. I would like to Benny Snell too.
Steelers.
Oh boy, that's a
That's gonna be
Steelers
fun.
pick right there, man. Just Bash Brothers with Connor and
That's
Benny
gonna be
Snell.
fun.
Yeah. Are you surprised how far the Amani Warrior is falling? No, because I was not that high on him. I know that some people, like at the Draft Network, loved him, but I didn't like him at all. And that's not an indictment on the Draft Network. It just, I didn't love him at all. Foster Moreau, another Bucks best bet, gone to the Raiders. Tight end. They weren't drafting a tight end anyways. Although I'll tell you what, if Anthony Alclair doesn't start catching some passes, they might regret not drafting a
I
tight
think
end.
Michael Jordan's a good pick too. He can play kind of all over.
And he's the greatest basketball player.
He
Out of
could,
high school,
and
he was
he
like
could
one
also
of the
swing the bat
nation's-
too.
Yeah. Three
Like out of high school, he was one of the nation's top
Yeah.
tackle prospects. Went in, immediately started at guard. Started all 4 years at Ohio State on the offensive
Dad
line,
joke.
which-
What was the dad joke, Petercast? I missed it.
That's why I always said if LeBron really wants to be compared to Michael Jordan, he's got to play baseball.
or
It's the
football?
only
He better hurry up.
Browns.
Yeah, he could be a tight end for sure.
He could start over in Njoku.
Imagine OJ on one side, LeBron on the other.
Joe Fulford actually is in Iowa, right, Joe?
Yeah.
Aren't you? Yeah. You've not been out to Iowa lately. You're correct. Last time I was in Iowa was in college, not by choice.
Jeez, he's not going to Iowa really. I'll tell you, I spent about 10 hours driving through Kansas, and the closest thing I came to a city was a sign that said Wichita 50 miles.
It's about right.
It was like
Yeah.
just cornfields where no corn was planted because it was March. It was just hours and hours of brown soil.
There's a reason why I don't live in Kansas anymore.
Yeah, that's about the extent of my
Yeah.
Midwest knowledge, but it was
Yeah, I
Terrible.
graduated in on a Saturday, May 13th. I was in Florida by the 19th, and it takes 2 days to drive here. So I like had my fill. Peace out.
by.
The Iowa acronym. Yeah. Well, that's a Midwestern thing. You don't have to be a dad to know that there's idiots out wandering around in Iowa. It's like that N on the Nebraska helmet stands for knowledge. It's another one. Mac Wilson still available. Mac Wilson's gone, hasn't he?
Yes, I'm almost sure of that.
Can do some intel. Yeah, fifth round. Fifth round is here. We're at the fifth round now. Is that right? Yes, we are. Fifth round. The pick is in for the Cardinals. Jacksonville Jaguars on the clock. So we should have the Bucks pick in about 10 minutes, probably, the way these are flying off the board.
Yeah, I think Mac Wilson is still available.
So
Just thinking.
it's not plugged in. There we go. Okay.
Done with this, Mark?
Yes.
Good. Any trash?
We're in the fifth round. I'm going to need a cup of ice. Hey, hold on. A cup of ice for this Red Bull.
Okay.
Un Coca mit viel Eis. Or I should say un Red Bull mit viel Eis.
Cup of ice. Got it.
Yeah.
I have no idea what the rest of it is.
That means like not one ice cube. I need like multiple ice cubes. Mit viel Eis. That's Swiss German for fill it with ice. Yes, I know, Joe. Iowa's a pretty nice state. We're just dogging Iowa a little bit here. I'm a Midwestern guy.
Tampa to go to Iowa.
Why'd you leave Tampa to go to Iowa? That's what the inquisitive Mark Cook wants to know. Deontay Thompson has gone, right? Is he still on the board?
Yeah, because that was a question last night to Jason Light about because there's the rumor that Bruce Arians called someone in Pittsburgh and was like, you got my guy.
No, that was Deontay
Dick
Johnson.
yeah,
the
right.
Toledo receiver. Don't knock Nebraska. Everybody knows Nebraska's windy because Colorado blows and Iowa sucks. That's a good one. I have not heard that one, Logan. That's actually a good Midwestern joke there. If Taylor brings you 3 cubes, he's my new best friend. Thank
You don't want to be his friend.
Yeah.
Yes.
Deontay Thompson. There you go. On cue. Arizona Cardinals.
Maybe you do have a crystal ball.
I remember when Deontay Thompson was mocked to the Buccaneers in the first round in some mock drafts, like in January. When will these people learn? Devin White all the way. Read PeterReport.com. We'll tell you who they're going to draft. Not every pick, but we get a better idea than most.
How about the other Alabama corner?
Savion Smith. Yeah. There's a chance.
He's still there?
There's a chance. Yeah, he's a day 3 guy. Local kid.
Local kid. Yeah.
I think Udo is a strong possibility. Yes, I do. Joe says, Mark, it's because he got married, and he has been married since October of last year. So you didn't put your foot down and say, we're staying in Tampa? Thompson to the Cards. The season was really disappointing. Yes, I agree. I did not buy all the hype about Deontay Thompson. I didn't. Bad athlete doesn't match what they've been taking, correct? Crispy Banks, Scott, what position are we going with in the 5th? I don't know because I'm not making the pick. I would like Oli Udo from Elon at right tackle would be good. I wouldn't be shocked to see at some point on day 3 them draft a quarterback like Tyree Jackson. Maybe he hasn't gone yet.
No.
Seems like a Bruce Allen type. Let me find my list here. David Edwards, the right tackle from Wisconsin, is another one. We've already got a defensive end. Byron Cowart could play 3 tech. He might be a pick. Thank you. Ooh, midfield East. Like it. Thank you.
Coming up in here with you?
Yeah, pop in here, man. If you had 3 ice cubes or less, you would have been rejected.
I think it's crazy that, like, when you said yesterday, oh, there's an ice machine. You've been here for 2 years. You should know. I was like, okay, I've seen it. I'm blanking here. I had never opened that thing. I never knew it was there.
This Red Bull right here, this Red Bull could have some vodka in it come 5 o'clock. Just saying.
I wouldn't blame you. Hey, my entire body is failing after draft weekend.
Yeah. Notice how we did a beer before day 2, but we didn't do anything before day 3. Right? Can you imagine like walking in here after 1 beer? We're probably all.
I think I would have been falling asleep.
Yeah. Not because we're lightweights, so we can't drink. But let's also be real. We're really tired. Slide over here a little bit.
Okay, here we go.
The banner. So the Buccaneers are coming up. This would be a great time to once again remind people the reason why we're here. It's because of you, Pewter Nation. Thank you for tuning in and making PewterReport.com your draft day home. We hope that you've enjoyed the coverage. We've nailed a couple picks. Devin White, who was a Bucks best bet, and in our mock. Jamel Dean, who was a Bucks best bet at corner, and in our mock. But we would also be remiss if we didn't thank Edmondson Electric and Security. You see him right there. This year's PewterReport.com Bucks draft covers not just our draft stories today, but our draft previews, and this live draft video cast has been presented by Edmondson Electric and Security, the official smart home and security company of PewterReport.com. For over 40 years, Edmondson Electric has proudly served the Central Florida area with electric services and is now proud to add to that state-of-the-art smart home technology and security systems to their roster. Edmondson Electric, whether it's surveillance cameras for your home to keep your family safe, whether it is home theaters for your man cave, whether it is smart lighting, Edmondson Electric and Security is the place to go for automating your dream home. Click the banners on PewterReport.com to find out about controlling, monitoring, and securing your home. Tomorrow starts when, Taylor?
Now.
Tomorrow starts now. Not just for the draft, but now for your home. For home automation controls and structured wiring and surveillance systems, Edmondson Electric and Security has the team to keep your home current. Call 813-910-3403 for more information or visit them on the web at edmondsonelectric.com. Control, monitor, secure. See, picks are flying in, aren't they?
Yeah, they're going quick now.
I mean, this is a lot
I
different
can't
than
even.
day 2.
Oh my God, it's like 2 picks since I looked
Yeah.
last.
Yep. So,
Oh man, what is Tampa Bay going to do here? Let's see.
well, I was reading off some names. Byron Cowart is another Bucks best bet. Running back Darwin Thompson. Almost had him as a Bucks best bet for day 2.
You know who the Bucks could have taken with their last pick? Charles Omenihu.
Mhm.
Didn't. Don't like
He's
him.
still there,
like
right?
Anthony, he is.
Yeah.
Anthony Nelson. Won't take him now. Shame.
Travion Williams from Texas A&M would be a huge
Ooh.
pick here. Gerald Willis or Mac Wilson, yeah. Both those guys, I think, have some off-field issues.
Renfro is still on the board.
Dalen Mack still on the board. Yeah, boy,
Dalen Mack would be a good
that would be a
pick.
hell of a good nose
That would be an
tackle.
awesome pick. He would step in and start, I think.
Peter Cass, scroll up. I want you to see my compliment. I posted it twice, but you haven't seen it yet. Well, by God, we're going to do it. I'd like to take the time to say that Scott does an outstanding job with the Bucks draft work. You hit more Bucks picks than anyone else. We'd be so lost without you. Thank you so much. Mark Cook can't hold your jock. Appreciate that, Peter Cass. That's awesome. I really do. That's great. And truthful, especially about the Mark Cook part.
I won't hold anybody's job. That's just it. Not only that, it's not that I can. Why would I? It's got to do your job. What does that even mean?
Another player to keep an eye on is Cody Thompson from Toledo. That's another player they might look at here.
I watched some film from Bunting against Toledo last night.
Mhm.
Yeah, went home, couldn't sleep, surprisingly enough. Immediately jumped on doing some research. I was talking to Matt about it earlier. I mean, just all the traits that these guys they drafted yesterday just fit Todd Bowles' system so well. Bunting left on an island, press guy, nose in their face on the line of scrimmage. Same thing with Jamel Dean. I think they reached a little bit for him, but I think it's an okay spot. Some guys had him top 5. I think Jonah Tolles had him as a top 5 cornerback.
Yeah.
But one thing I thought that was really interesting.
You know who liked the
from
Jamel
both
Dean
of
pick?
them? Who?
Peyton Barber.
Peyton Barber? Of course.
You got a text
Auburn
from
guys.
Peyton, and he said, War Eagle.
Because you look, and I mean, it's the same thing. Kevin Steele there, his defensive scheme, they run a lot of quarters, obviously, when you're going up against spread systems,
Yeah.
but they do a lot of rushing 5, rushing 6, single man up,
Mhm.
and then your guys on the outside are locking guys up one-on-one, and that's what Todd Bowles is going to do. He's going to have his edge guys come in on the outside. You're going to have Devin White now flying up the middle because you put that pressure, you push.
Mhm.
And that's why he said you want pressure up the middle, but it's those corner guys are going to get the sack. When you disrupt a guy to step out of the pocket and all of a
Right.
sudden you've got a JPP there,
Mhm.
that's trouble for them. And that's where your
Right.
sacks come from.
Here's the one thing, too, right? So they had 20 sacks in 2017.
Mhm.
They made all sorts of improvements along the defensive line to go from 20 sacks to 38. Is the same group that contributed to those 38 sacks going to be here in Tampa this year?
Yes.
Yeah, with the exception of what? Gerald McCoy's 6 and Quan Alexander's 1, right? So if you do the math, keeping everything the same and anticipating the same level of production, and maybe that's JPP getting 10 sacks and Nassib getting 8. But what you're doing is they fixed the defensive line, what is now considered the defensive front, right? Because JPP and Nassib are outside linebackers. They added Shaq Barrett, another pass rusher. Now you're adding a hell of a good blitzer in Devin White, plus Levante David, who has not been utilized nearly as much as he should have been. But the guy can blitz. I think he had 7 sacks one year under Schiano. So having said that, you take away Gerald's 6 and Quan's 1, I think that you're going to make up for those sacks with a Barrett, with the
I
White,
think Barrett's really going to have a lot of
with the
skill.
Levante
He's got speed
David.
off the edge.
Even and I think Nelson, you put Nelson in there as a defensive end rather than Golston, he's going to get you a pair of sacks as a rookie.
And here's a couple things I noticed that I really thought was interesting from both of the cornerbacks that were drafted yesterday, both Jamel Dean
Bring it.
and
Drop
Sean
some
Bunting.
knowledge.
So in his conference call with the Bucks media or with Tampa media yesterday, Jamel Dean said,